there. Good morning. It is a beautiful Thursday of the week. I am Emefa Akosiadeti and welcome to the AM show. Today as well promises to be the best installment you may have seen yet on the show. As well, we'll bring you the AM news. Noella is on standby to bring you everything that you may have missed yesterday and even this morning. And as well, Haruna Mubarak will bring you some sports updates. We shall then take you for news review. Dr. Joshua Zato, political scientist and policy analyst, will be joining us. And Nwang Falong, NDC communications team as well, will be joining us. And Nana Sapon, Movement for Change, all will be joining us for the news review. And of course, we shall look at our big stories this morning. Now, Gertrude Esaba Torkornoo back in court, contesting her removal as Justice of the Supreme Court, contends that the removal of an ordinary Justice of the Supreme Court follows a different path than the process for removing a CJ, and so the President could not have used one process to remove her as both Chief Justice and a judge of the Supreme Court. We hear the legal opinions and even so this controversial matter. Also, we'll take a look at the worrying trend of violence in our schools and how we'll deal with this phenomenon. And finally, we shall take you to the final day of the Datiye of Asante Hema in Kumasi, where dignitaries far and near are expected to honor her, especially in her demise. You want to join the conversation with your thoughts via phone when we get to open the phone lines, or better still join us via all of our social media handles. I promise you that today will be best yet. Thank you for choosing us. Noella Karen Iyale is on standby with the news.
It's 6:08 a.m. on the show. You're welcome to the news on the AM show. I'm Noella Karen Iyale. Let's begin with our top stories. And chairperson of the former Electoral Commission chairperson, Charlotte Asay, has opened up about the attacks and threats she endured during her tenure as Ghana's Electoral Commissioner. Now, speaking at the 2025 Democracy Dialogues in Accra under the auspices of the Good Luck Jonathan Foundation, she revealed the wartime supporters of a political party surrounded her father's house in an attempt to burn it over a decision she had taken as EC boss. Presidential Affairs correspondent Maxwell Agbagba has more in this report.
Over the years, the Good Luck Jonathan Foundation has been committed to strengthening democratic governance, ensuring fostering peaceful political transitions and promoting accountability across Africa. Through high-level dialogues and engagements, the foundation has convened leaders, policymakers and civil society actors to discuss the evolving challenges and opportunities in sustaining democracy on the continent. This year's event was on the theme, Why Democracies Die. During a panel discussion, former Electoral Commission chairperson Charlotte Asay revealed the attacks and threats she faced during her tenure, including an attempt by supporters of a political party to set her father's house on fire.
The cost was really on a very personal level. Attacks on my family, concerns about the safety of my children and my wider family. There were a lot of lies, and so the whole fabric of the family was affected. It's either they were worrying for themselves or they were constantly worrying about your own safety. My dad was still alive at the time, so that created other challenges. There was a time that a political party mob surrounded my dad's house, that they were going to burn it down because of actions they felt I had taken. So those were the kinds of personal pressures that as a woman, as a mother, as a daughter, as a wife, as a sister, you have to deal with.
She accused regional bodies like ECOWAS of hiding behind quiet diplomacy in the face of flawed elections while failing to strongly condemn constitutional manipulations.
And so ultimately we need to do better. The leaders need to do better. The institutions, African Union, ECOWAS, they need to do better. We need to strengthen those institutions so they are not seen as an ECOWAS of leaders or an AU of leaders, because that's all we see. from the people perspective in conferences with themselves, and we don't see them engaging the people. And so when ECOWAS tells us, for instance, that they have the policy on good governance has zero tolerance for coups, we say yes. But when there's coups, ECOWAS is very loud in condemning coups. But when there's constitutional manipulation of flawed elections, ECOWAS would deploy quiet diplomacy. That's why the people are not happy.
In his address, President John Mahama warned that the loudest applause for military leaders at his inauguration should be taken as a wake-up call. He says it's a clear sign of growing public disillusionment with democracy. He stressed that democracy cannot be sustained by rights and freedoms alone if it fails to deliver real improvements in people's lives.
But for those who attended my inauguration, if you were not on the Black Star Square and we had locked you in a room and you could hear the announcement of the acknowledgement of the presidents who were coming up to greet me, you'd have noticed that the loudest applause was for the countries that have overthrown democracy and are under military dictatorship. That should give us a pause for thought. That should make us think. And that should make us ask ourselves questions. What are the things we need to do to sustain democracy?
Now, Kejeta Market is recording a last-minute sales rush as shoppers flood the trading hub ahead of its closure on Thursday. And the shutdown comes as part of restrictions announced by the Menchia Palace to honor the royal burial rites of Asante Hima Nana Kunedu Yadom III. Schools and markets will be closed with only essential services allowed to operate. Josephine Sego reports.
On Thursday, September 18, 2025, specific businesses in Kumasi have been banned from opening as Asanteman prepares for the final burial rites of its queen, Nana Kunedu Yadom III. On the day, both day and night activities will be affected, with schools and markets ordered to remain closed during the day. While utility providers and other essential service providers are exempted from the directive, we are here to know from traders and buyers whether they are making the most of the day.
After today, we won't work. We'll be going to the funeral to mourn the late queen. Market is good. There are a lot of people at the market today. Hopefully by the close of today, we will get a lot of profits. By 3 p.m., we will all be leaving this market. The market is good. Tomorrow we'll be paying our last respects to the late queen. I came to buy some stuff for tomorrow.
People are not in the market today, like the market is slow. I think everybody is afraid.
Some people are scared to come around. I came to the hospital and decided to pass here to buy some fish for the banku I will be preparing tomorrow.
While the Menchia Palace acknowledges the impact this could have on businesses, the restriction is to honor the legacy and solemn return of the late Queen Mother to the ancestral. Reporting for Joy News, Josephine Sego, Kumasi.
Now, in exactly 7 days from today, President John Dramani Mahama will take the global stage at the United Nations General Assembly in New York on Thursday, September 25, 2025. He will be the 12th speaker during the high-level week of the 80th UN General Assembly session. But As the countdown begins, what are the expectations of Ghanaians living in the U.S.? Here's a report.
Well, with just a few days to go before the high-level meeting of the 80th UN General Assembly, excitement is building among Ghanaians here in the United States. Many are eager to actually hear President Mahama's address, and the expectations are clear. Top of mind for them are issues of immigration, concerns, and the ongoing issues of Galamsey, as well as issues of LGBT and constitutional review. We can take a listen to what they have been saying.
Mine has to do with the constitutional amendments with regards to the appointment of the MCs. Not only that, it's not only the MCs that they should be elected, but the regional ministers also must be elected. And every region should have a regional parliament. What I want the president to say with regards to the checks and balances, that because when Barack Obama came to Ghana, he stood in our parliament and he made it clear that we don't need strong men, but we need strong institutions. The only way the country will move forward is when the institutions are strong.
When the president mounts the podium, I want him to first talk about the Galamsey issue in Ghana and the LGBT. Because I remember the LGBT issue. Some judge proposed a bill when Akufo-Addo was in power. But when Mahama resumed power, we've not heard anything about it. He needs to make a stand, whether he's for or against the LGBT issue, because it's a big challenge in Ghana. What is he doing about illegal mining in Ghana? These are the two basic things I think he should talk about. Because Ghana is a developing country. People need quality water. People are dying as a result of illegal mining. What is he doing about it?
What I want Mahama to do to fight mostly in Ghana is the Galamsey, and other thing is the discipline of Ghana, because most Ghanaian constitution lacks a lot of discipline.
I would like the president to ponder on the issues of Africa free trade zones, how we, the connected countries, will have access to free market, access the free markets, not even to talk about globalization within our own circle, like West Africa.
Well, these are the key issues Ghanaians in the United States say they will be listening for as President Mahama takes the stage at the UN headquarters to address the world. And of course, Joy News will keep you fully updated with all the major speeches as the UN marks its 80th anniversary. From Times Square here in Manhattan, Carlos Caloni for Joy News.
Well, from Times Square, let's come back to Accra and talk about the Open Forum on Agricultural Biotechnology Ghana chapter, which has held a new media biotechnology workshop in Accra to discuss how the technology can boost food security and support smallholder farmers. The event also highlighted the benefit of the locally developed pod borer resistant cowpea seed, and here's more.
OFAB new media workshop provided clarity on critical issues in agriculture biotechnology. The workshop highlighted the benefits of the pod borer resistant cowpea seed developed locally by the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research.
It appears the intention to drive home what the technology is about, to try to explain the background of its safety was quite achieved based on the sort of interactive and very interesting questions that came up.
Project Officer at OFAB Ghana, Enoch Ilori, says the initiative is aimed at supporting smallholder farmers across Ghana, boosting yields and reducing crop losses.
OFAB is a platform to bring together scientists and various stakeholders to understand the technology, biotech, and to know the benefits as well as what the technology can do for Ghanaians and smallholder farmers. So today we are here to educate the influencers, the bloggers, members of the New Media Association, for them to understand and to serve as gatekeepers to the misinformation and disinformation that is going around concerning biotechnology and its related products. It's important that we let them understand and know about the technology.
The OFAB Ghana chapter believes equipping the media with accurate information on biotechnology is crucial in shaping public understanding and strengthening advocacy for agricultural innovation.
Now, vision science research in Africa has received a groundbreaking boost as the University of Cape Coast School of Optometry and Vision Science inaugurate a state-of-the-art eye and vision research center. Now, the facility is expected to build research capacity across the continent and shape innovative solutions to eye health challenges. Launching the center alongside Vision Science Africa Exchange 2025, Dean of the school, Professor Stephen Okanse, described it as a transformative hub for cutting-edge imaging and clinical assessment research.
The launch of the Maiden Vision Science Africa Exchange VISAX 2025 and inauguration of the Eye and Vision Research Center EVRC was on the theme Building Vision Science Research Capacity in Africa. According to the Vice Dean of the University of Cape Coast School of Optometry and Vision Science SOVS and project lead at UCC, Dr. Enya Moni, the aim of EVRC and VISAX 2025 aligns with the theme.
We sent our proposal to VLOX and they happily sponsored us. And we had just one vision in mind. And our aim is to build research capacity in vision science on the continent. That is our number one aim. That is what we want to do. And we want to do this based on 4 pillars. The first one is to establish the infrastructure. We want a future for Ghana, we want a future for Africa where no optometrist or ophthalmologist will say they have no idea what a VEP is. We want a VEP to be available and we want people to be able to touch it, use it, fiddle with it.
In his welcome address, the Dean of UCC SOVS, Professor Stephen Okanse, described the EVRC as a hub of progress in image and clinical assessment research.
This facility will be the hub for advancing image and clinical assessment research. Its establishment through IGF is particularly significant. It shows that as a school, we are ready to invest in ourselves and chart our own future. And we pray for the support of the university. The
chairperson of the program and pro-vice chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Professor Dennis Bolanyo Aheto, indicated that the launch of VISAX 2025 and inauguration of the EVRC aligns with the university's corporate strategic plan.
The success of these initiatives, such as the EVRC and VISAX, rest on strong institutional foundations. EVRC's establishment and VISAX 25 launch are fully aligned with our corporate strategic plan, running since 2023 to 2027.
The keynoter, Dr. Heiko Philippine, suggested that the EVRC may be the first facility of its kind with advanced equipment in Africa.
To my knowledge, this is the very first electrophysiology lab with all this kind of equipment in probably most of African countries, if not the only and very first one across Africa. So it is really a very special.
From UCC, Abigail Lissel and Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
Now, Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa says the Mahama administration will stop at nothing in the pursuit of the reunification of the African diaspora to promote national development. Describing the diaspora as Africa's 6th region, the minister believes that their reconnection to continent will go a long way to support the push for repatriation justice, and he was speaking at the launch of the 2025 Diaspora Summit launch in Accra.
The Diaspora Summit 2025 is an initiative aimed at deepening partnership between Ghana and its global diaspora while harnessing their resources, expertise, and networks to accelerate national development. Addressing a gathering at the media launch of the upcoming summit, Kofi Otredako, Director of Diaspora Affairs at the Office of the President, intimated the diaspora is a monumental resource for Ghana's development.
The summit is an important reset. It is important, and it's also about repositioning the diaspora from being seen only as senders of remittances to being recognized as full partners in our national transformation. Ghana's greatest wealth is not beneath the ground, like we find in my hometown of Adansiako, Kerry, but it's with the people, both home and abroad. We recognize the diaspora, being diverse people whom we have to be very intentional about in terms of engaging with, as a monumental resource for growth and development.
Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, who sees the African diaspora as Ghana's 17th region, says their reunification should go beyond driving foreign direct investments.
We send a clear message that we seek nothing but justice. We seek nothing but truth. And we seek nothing but our reunification. And that we will remain one people that cannot be separated by oceans or by history. Our brothers and sisters in the diaspora represent the 6th region of the continent. And as has been said, the 17th region of our republic. We cannot be whole, we cannot be complete if we do not fully recognize their existence.
With the Diaspora Summit slated for December this year, government says it will stop at nothing at ensuring a smooth event.
The Office of the President is working closely with our Diaspora Affairs Office, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and all the agencies that were listed. And no efforts will be spared to ensure that the summit for this year becomes a defining moment.
Later at the United Nations Summit this year, the government of Ghana is expected to advocate for reparatory justice. Blessed Sugan's report for Joy News, Accra.
Let's do business now, and we begin with some news in the currency world. Now let's do more in business. And the total value of mobile money transactions reached record levels ending August this year. Now, data released by Bank of Ghana showed that it has hit 2.7 trillion cedis for the first 8 months of this year. And there's more on the following report.
The 2.7 trillion cedis represents a significant leap in terms of what the Bank of Ghana recorded in the same period for last year. The data showed that the amount has been declining marginally since May this year to about 356 billion cedis. When it comes to the total amount of mobile money funds saved with commercial banks, the Bank of Ghana puts the amount at 196 billion cedis. The spike in the numbers, according to some industry persons, can be linked to more people using the mobile money platform now for payments in the country. Again, total number of registered mobile money accounts stood at 77.7 million. However, it appears only 25 million were active. In terms of employment, the mobile money platform has given jobs to more than 900,000 people as mobile money agents.
Away from that, the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, has begun implementing initiatives to strategically position the institution to attain its annual revenue target, with this year's set at 220 billion Ghana cedis. The authority commissioned a capacity building program for senior officers to improve human resources to drive service delivery. Fred Kwame Asari has more in the following report.
The General Competency Development Program for Senior Officers was designed to prepare and enhance the knowledge of participants in customs operations, among other things, to make them more effective leaders. Some 4,000 senior officers are expected to benefit from the program in 2025, with the hope of expansion and continuation in the coming years. The officers would be housed and trained at the SEPS Academy in Kwetwe for a week. Addressing the opening ceremony, the Commissioner for the Support Services Division, Dr. Alex Adomako Mensah, said the training was a strategic approach targeted at transforming the human resources of the authority.
Colleagues, this training is not just about adding certificate to your files. It is about adding value to your performance. It is about preparing you for a higher responsibility. And it is about building a culture of professionalism that drives results. The authority is watching. Your supervisors are watching. But more importantly, the taxpayers are watching you. Let me assure you that management remains committed to investing in your growth, but that investment must yield returns in the form of improved work ethics, better service delivery, and a stronger and more efficient Ghana Revenue Authority.
And that's it for the bulletin, but of course we'll check out what the prices of some goods on our commodity market. Right after, we'll bring you sports. This is the AM Show. I'm Noella Kareniali. Stay tuned in.
Time for sports on the AM Show. My name is Haruna Mubarak. Now, Black Stars midfielder Thomas Partey could now focus on football as his court trial is scheduled to begin in November 2026. The 32-year-old is accused of raping 2 women and sexually assaulting a third. However, he has pleaded not guilty at the Southwark Crown Court in London. There is more in this report.
Yes, indeed. Thomas Partey, well, this hearing was actually set some weeks back, but it just so happened that Thomas Partey was in London anyway, because, of course, he was playing for his new club, Villarreal. He is, of course, a former Arsenal player, but he was playing for his new club, Villarreal, against Tottenham last night, came on as a late substitute. So he arrived here at Southwark Crown Court at about 9:20 this morning. His hearing, which is called a plea and pre-trial preparation hearing, was set for 10 a.m. this morning. Now, it was a very short hearing. It lasted just 14 minutes. However, he spoke to the judge briefly during that time just to confirm his name and his date of birth, but also to enter pleas against the counts on the indictments against him. So he entered 5 not guilty pleas to 5 counts of rape and then 1 not guilty plea against the count of sexual assault. He denies all those charges. They allegedly took place between 2021 and 2022. He was arrested in 2022 while still an Arsenal player. So what happens today as well is that a trial date has also been set for Thomas Partey. That is going to take place here at Southwark Crown Court, but not until next year, on November the 2nd, 2026. And as the judge made clear to Mr. Partey, that is due to the backlog of cases within the judicial system. And Mr. Partey, of course, is still on bail. So he goes in a queue behind others who are still in custody at the moment. That is why it's going to take almost 14 months for this to come to trial. As I say, he remains on bail. The conditions of those bail were actually set at a hearing last August that he cannot have any contact with the 3 complainants in this case. He has to inform the British police of any international travel and also inform them if he changes his address, if he intends to stay at an address for longer than 14 days. Those bail conditions still apply, and he will have to attend his trial when it begins on November the 2nd, 2026 here at Southwark Crown Court. He left pretty swiftly after the hearing. The short hearing had taken place as well, no doubt to fly back to Spain as well. But Mr. Partey in court today denying all the charges against him and entering pleas, 6 pleas of not guilty against 5 counts of rape and 1 of sexual assault.
Now, board member of Great Olympics, Kudjo Fiano, is confident in his side's ability to make a return to the Ghana Premier League. The Wonder Club got relegated 2 seasons ago and are now getting ready for the upcoming Division 1 League, which kicks off on September 26. Fiano says everything has been put in place for the squad to deliver.
One of the main matters that we saw was player welfare. Yeah, we did our best, but our best was not enough for last season. So currently, our prime target is first of all to make the players, when players are happy and they are satisfied, they are ready to die for you. So we've done that. Player welfare is very key to our success, and that is what we're doing. Getting a very good technical team, bring that relationship between the coach and his players. We are not going to sacrifice discipline. Discipline will be one of the things that we'll consider. And when the players are satisfied and the board is playing their part, management, they are playing their part, what is left is with the coach, his technical team and the players. And I think that they would not have anything to worry about, because management has been given all the support and all the assurance by the board that we will not be found wanting. And once we will not be found wanting, we have no excuse if we don't deliver. We can only deliver, and that is what we're looking at.
Away from football, Ghana's Ibrahim Fuseni bowed out of the men's 200 meters at the World Athletics Championships after finishing 6th in his heat. He's the latest sprinter to not make it through to the finals of the competition. And that's how we end the sports segment here on the AM show. My name is Haruna Mubarak.
Blessing Akwasi Afrifa. He's got roots in Ghana, running for Israel. And we've got another swift man from Zimbabwe. Makanakaisha Charamba, 19.92. Ibrahim Fuseni representing the Lone Star Black Star State. Ghana, we've got Tove Tuna of Papua New Guinea. Tomasz Nemaj of the Czech Republic. And from Omar Simpson in lane 60. And they're off cleanly at this time. And look at Charamba upright as Lovell of Jamaica has taken the early lead going into that home straight. Who's going to pick up the pace at this point? Look at Charamba. Lovell is there. Charamba looks to his left. And you've got Galga of Australia who's closing in the gap. And it's Lovell. 19.84 seconds. And running into a headwind. He has qualified for that. Charamba 20.06, 20.23 for goal. They are through automatically for that. 20.23 is the cutoff point. Blessing Akwasi Afrifa for Blake. 20.43 keeps him safe so far as far as qualifying is concerned. Made his presence felt 100% this season. And it is his final 60 meters that made the difference for him ahead of
the show. This is the AM show. Time now to review the news, and a gentle reminder that the AM show, it's sponsored by Kenego Company Limited and Syntex Tanks. Now, Ghana, let's talk water tanks. By now, I like to think you know the real secrets to real water storage. Well, it's simple if you don't know. If your tank doesn't have the tortoise tank on it, it's not the correct tank. It's not. That's right. The tortoise tongue Syntex tongue is the champion of water tongues. It is strong and durable and built to handle our Ghanaian weather. Rain or shine, Syntex tongue has your back. So my people, go outside, check your tongue, and if it doesn't have a tortoise on it, it is time to upgrade. So join the Syntex tongue family today and enjoy water storage that is tough like a tortoise. You call them on 0244325168 to buy now, or you can find one of their 400 agents nationwide. You can as well also shop online, syntexgh.com. You can also just get one from the website when you go there. Syntex Tank, a strong, a tough. Time now to review the news, and we're joined by Dr. Joshua Zato, political scientist and policy analyst. We've got also Nanaya Osapon, Movement for Change. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us this morning. How's your week been so far?
You have the papers that can I have?
Of course.
Yes. That's been good so far. It's almost Friday, so you know.
You're excited about it?
Yeah, very.
Nanaya, how's the week been so far?
My week has been exciting and glorious. There's some ups and downs, but I've life.
I think that Movement for Change, you have been very busy this week.
Movement, yeah, of course. We have some few activities ongoing, and some people called on us to be very busy, and so we have been busy.
You have.
And the country needs to get busy. You know, some people ought to get busy, and so that the country will move forward. So we're on. We've been busy, and Zato has been busy. He's been marking scripts.
Dr. Zato, have you just been marking scripts? How's the week been so far? What has your attention on the news?
They asked you a question. Answer for yourself. Why are you answering for me?
Dr.
If you ask,
he's just been kind of hospital.
He's not. You don't know him. It's mischief. Yeah. We are great.
Take your 2 minutes, and I'll take my 2 minutes.
But this week we have seen kind of a mix of just coming so far on the economic front. You know, there was the issue of the GDP, the quarterly GDP was very impressive. The Bank of Ghana just cut the policy rate yesterday too. That is also impressive. Oil exports are rising. So you can say that if you look at those three things, if you're the finance minister, you'll be happy. They seem to be good things for the economy. And even gold and cocoa are still also doing very well. So that is on the one side. On the other side, you then begin to realize that the public debt is rising. So I don't know whether we should start looking at that. On the other hand, you also realize that the cedi is still having some element of difficulties. So that is also something. The governor of the Bank of Ghana says that they have released all the requests for cedis, for money that the dollars that the commercial bank needs. So that is so good. But I think that one thing that as a country, collectively, we've not yet done is to be able to deal with this issue of Abuchi having the dollar and the rate. I think it's something that past administration and current administration are still struggling with. And I ask myself, I've lived in a number of countries. There's no way you can just walk out to the street and see a man standing there holding dollar bills and just telling them. I've not seen it. I don't know why it's looking like it's impossible to deal with that particular issue. It's looking like this, but we don't. And for me, I still don't understand why. I just think that we need to do that because it's inimical to our economic growth. Why do we still allow these men, these women, and mostly men, just stand on the road with a lot of dollars on themselves and just do that? I don't understand why.
Well, Movement for Change, you do share in Dr. Zato's sentiments. You used about
of course
nearly 45 seconds of your 2 minutes, so you still have a minute to tell us what has your attention.
Oh, really? No, I think that Zito is right. And I think the Bank of Ghana has put in measures to be able to sanitize the system. The new governor, Dr. Isiama, he's done well with his monetary policies and how to regulate the forex market. I think the steps he's taking is in the right direction. What is left with is the citizens' mindset change to be able to conform with the policies that are set. Because, Zato is a researcher. He understands that when you have formulated policies and put in good measures and the people do not have the mindset change, then it's going the policies are not going to work out. But what my attention actually has been drawn to in these few days is the call by many Ghanaians to deal with the issues of corruption and corruption-related activities. And fortunately, somewhere on the 7th of January 2017, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo made a call that we should be citizens and not spectators. And I would want to congratulate my colleagues, Solomon Owusu, Abu Bakman, and lawyer Pierre Dankwa, for being citizens and not spectators, for petitioning the OSP to look into the claims in the viral video of the former vice president, having said that he donated over 300 pickups to a political party in less than a year. And if you are averaging a pickup to one pickup to $60,000 US, it means that we are talking in the ranges of $18 million.
Is this in his capacity as Dr. Baumia?
Yes, that was what he said in the video. It's viral. I can send you the video.
So you're petitioning the OSP to authenticate the viral video, authenticate the claim.
He claims that he donated. And this was not just him saying it, he was saying it to Ghanaians, because, I mean, those who are seated in the gathering are Ghanaians. And of course, we have regulations to that effect. If you look at the Political Parties Act, 2000 Act 574, if you look at the Anti-Money Laundering Act 2020, Act 1044, I mean, the sections are there. You can't just make these allegations and go scot-free. You understand? They are supposed to be the auditing of the financing of political activities. And so if you are claiming that you, as then sitting vice president was contestant, you donated 300 pickups, we should look into it. That is 18 million. If you are converting it at the time, which was about 15 Ghana cedis to a dollar, we are talking about 270 million Ghana cedis. A lot of money. Well, you understand? So if he was even receiving an average salary of 200,000 Ghana cedis a month, we are talking about 1,350 months of salary accumulated. You understand? But let me use this opportunity to also wish Joe Bedouansa, the former trade minister, my heartfelt condolence from us all. He will be burying the mother tomorrow. Okay. That's Mrs. Janet Joe Bedouansa in Takoradi, and we wish him well. And we would be there to support. Zato is your party member. So I'm just inviting you.
How are you inviting Dr. Zato to?
You should tell.
You know that's not yours.
Oh, he's a former trade minister. I
don't even know that.
And he's a former MP.
You see
and he's a member of the political party he belongs to.
Don't worry, when he finishes,
So,
I'm sure I'll have a chance to talk about what he's saying.
Well, before we go into some of the things that have made it to the headlines, maybe just a recap. Yesterday, the president spoke at the Democracy Dialogue, saying a few things which we'll go into. What he thinks are the tenets of a proper democracy in a country. We'll talk about that. And as well, you may have seen that the NDC's chairman is a video purporting to say that he is on a thank you tour. We've got a member of the NDC communications team who will join us shortly, would authenticate that claim and also understand what the nuances in that video as well means. We'll also talk about, well, of course, he's already brought the petitioning to OSP by Movement of Change, the claims.
It's not Movement for Change.
Movement for Change.
If you read the petition, there are members of the movement that has petitioned. Okay. The movement as an entity has
not petitioned,
but
just
of
members
course,
of them.
We associate with the petition. Why not? We have called for sanitization in our system. We have called for it. Ghanaians are tired with the acts and activities of politicians always being accused of being corrupt. And so if we are able to explain the source of our funds, it would help.
I think you made that point. Dr. Zato, yeah, which one do you want to?
Thank you very much. I'm a student of accountability, I am a student of transparency, and I'm a student of the rule of law. So any citizen from any quarter that wants to make sure that to borrow my friend's word, sanitize, I'm a student of that. I believe in that. It should happen. It's a good thing because it helps to strengthen our laws. It helps to strengthen our democracy. Having said that, sometimes motive is very important, even in murder trials and other criminal cases. So now you want to look at the motive of the person. First of all, I want to ask the very simple question. You and I, we all see these things. They are members of the MPP. So first of all, two or a lot of parties go into an election. After the election, you think that the system should be sanitized.
Yeah.
Common sense, just common sense, not even law will have dictated that at least you will be asking for equity from all the the players in that election. Common sense. And if yours is a demand for justice, for fairness, then you will be demanding it for all the players, for all the people that came there. So in this case, I would have expected that these people would have been saying that, look, hey, let's sanitize the whole political system. And by sanitizing the whole political system, then you are saying that let's look at all these political parties. I will give an example. For instance, in my hometown of Tumu, in my constituency, Sale East, I saw an NDC pickup and I saw an NPP pickup. They were all branded and they were all there. So you probably, and I saw them in all other constituencies, other places. So if you do that, then your appeal is nationalistic. Then people think that, okay, there are no ulterior motives. You don't do that. 1, 2. Then you decide to what? Focus on a particular political party. In fact, the losing political party in that general, for years, there are members of that political party that are also contesting for offices. And we've heard them say again and again and again and again what they have contributed to the party. So again, you would have thought that if somebody was looking for Senate, let's say the focus of this person was not on Ghana as a whole, political parties. I agree with that. Then you say the focus of this person is on a particular political party. Then you would have expected that that person will go into that party and try to seek justice for all the people making the claims the party. In this case, you would have started somewhere. You don't do that. What we have seen, therefore, is that this is a narrow, partisan focus on one particular person, His Excellency Dr. Mahama, the former Vice President.
What's wrong with that?
Good. That is where the motives then come in. It was His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia who defeated Honorable Alain Chamanten and brought his once shining, his once role as an heir apparent in the MPP to a stand. It was he who is seen to have killed the presidential ambitions of Honorable Alain Chamanten in the MPP. It was he who has sent Honorable Alain Chamanten into, let me say, almost an early political retirement. So, this is retribution. This is retribution. This is a fight back. And what you then see is that it is an attempt by people who have never hidden their intentions to hurt an individual. And that is the problem with this particular petition. Look, the petition will go through the way, and I'm sure that answers will be provided. But my point is that if our political system has been reduced to personal errands, if our political system has been reduced to vindictiveness, if our political system has been reduced to this, then where are we going as a people? Okay. It seems these people, these people, have been hired or have been leased with one objective: damage the reputation of His Excellency Dr. Bawumia and make sure he does become president. It seems that these people have no other political objective in their lives but to do this.
You have prejudice of if that is investigated, there will be...
No, that's what I'm saying. But I've told you, that's why I tried to lay the background. Let's investigate everything. It's like, look, we've seen it. People...
But you have nothing to hide.
No, exactly, no. So I'm not against it. Remember, I've never said I'm not. I said, let it go on. It will come on. In fact, I'm very happy that you will see that this... Remember, I said it will strengthen our laws, our campaign laws. It will strengthen our public accountability laws. But in doing that, you also ought to see the ulterior motives. You also have to see what is happening. I've made an observation over the years, and I've come to realization that this movement of change is an appendage of, let me say, other political parties with one sole objective: to destroy His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. This movement of change is nothing but a collection of disgruntled MPP members who have been come out, and it's like they have what? Hacked out. They have just hired out to them just to make Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
It's not fair on them because it's not, as he said, it's not movement.
Again, I am saying that is my observation. You can look at it. I am saying that these are leading members. They are leading members. And I'm contextual. These are leading members of the organization. And they are just leading members of the organization. They are just a bunch of disgruntled members whose sole objective is a tunnel vision. It's a narrow vision. Destroy Bawumia. Go after Bawumia. They have no political objective of winning, of contesting election and winning power. They have no political objective of doing it. Anyway, if your question, the primary objective of question is that Dr. Bawumia is a vice president, we know his salary, we know his distance, how was he able to buy this? Honorable Alan Chamantas, at the time he was running for office, was unemployed. We also know his salary as a Minister of State. We saw his billboards all over this country. We saw his branded pickups all over this country. Where did he also get the money? If you are coming to look for equity and fairness, you must come with clean hands. Where did he also get the money? But nobody is going to bother trying to say investigate Honorable Alan because, well, his political district is not going anywhere. He has no way to go but down. Honorable Dr. Bawumia has every way to go to the presidency. So you understand, they are on two trajectories. Bawumia is going all the way up, Alan is going all the way, so nobody cares. But I'm saying that this idea of hiding behind this is not fair.
Let me bring in. Would you want?
Of course, absolutely. That would not be fair.
I will moderate this nicely. Trust me.
No, I've written, but I just want to draw attention to the fact.
No, you started it.
I would have to deal with the series of lies
I'm here,
that has been.
Both of you have just both of you started. So give me a minute. I'll moderate this. No, thank you for joining us. Before you came in, we're just telling people about a few things that happened in the news. By now, you know which one they all.
Oh yes, I listened. I was just outside listening.
Okay.
So good morning to you and your technical crew for all the good work that you're doing. Good morning to all the comrades that are tuned in, especially Laura constituency, sorry for the bias. Also to all the hard-working members of the NDC and the appointees who have been putting in so much work to stabilize this country and move us from a broken place into a place of hope. Yesterday, I noticed that the Monetary Policy Committee has further reduced the MPR, now trending at some 21.5%, considerably down from 27% that we started 2025 with. At a point in this country, we had monetary policy rates at 35%. That was in 2023. The worst ever in Ghana's history was that 35% policy rate. It made lending very expensive and difficult for small businesses, for regular individuals, for families. So it's relieving to see that in just 8 months in office, the NDC has put in the work, shown its commitment to improving the lives of Ghanaians and making lending more affordable to households, to businesses, so they can improve and they can grow. Coming back to the subject of Bawumia being reported to the OSP, more basically, I think that, in this country, we do not have a specific law that governs political party financing. But we have a Political Parties Act, Act 2000, Act, I think 574. And that basically governs the registration and funding of political parties. And in there, you will find that political parties are mandated to submit audited accounts, including details of assets. This is a law that should, this is an act that should guide us in conducting our politics in a transparent, honest, and less corrupt manner. I'm surprised that the MPP's Dr. Zato has mounted a spirited defense against the submissions of Nana Yao. I think that it's a step in the right direction, that the OSP has been petitioned. That is, it falls within the remit of the OSP, and we need to move towards a place where there is transparency in funding of political parties and funding of our elections, because they tend to get... I think the CDD released a report sometime last week saying that it now you need about $200 million. Yes, something over about $240 million to be able to contest a presidential election for a country like Ghana. That's a lot, exorbitant.
Are you concerned about what he says, that he really doesn't have a problem with who is being petitioned, but he thinks that the motive behind it is quite targeted, because there are many other people that you can as well petition the OSP or other investigative bodies to investigate. Why target only Dr. Bawumia?
Well, if he has a list of people that should be investigated, he's free to petition the OSP.
Is this a fair response?
I think that yes, I mean anyone can petition the OSP. But I also think that it is unfair to accuse a movement for change of victimizing, of targeting, because when you do that, auditing a politician is not vindictive. Unless you are telling me that there are some damaging findings that will, are over there that will show us that, that will call his character into question. Otherwise, you should welcome auditing. You should welcome being investigated. This same OSP investigated John Dramani Mahama in this country, sat him down and asked him questions. Nobody is above the law.
Well, just a few seconds to respond to a few things you claim were lies. Can you outline which ones were the lies?
Of course. So, number one, Alan Tremontin stated.
Well, he started.
No, unless what he says, because I was here.
Number one, Alan Tremontin, as he stated, was not in office. He was not in government when he was running for president.
He said he was unemployed.
So,
That's
what
not
makes
a lie.
Of course. Was Alan unemployed? Do you think Alan would be unemployed?
Mean he was unemployed or he was not in government?
Alan, first of all, number one, he's a management consultant. If you care to know, he's a lawyer. Number three, he's a trade expert, and he knows. And
he was
so
unemployed by the government.
You want to say Alan was unemployed?
I thought he was going to finish and I'll come inside. Okay.
No, now...
So Alan was employed. Okay. So we can verify his source of income that he used for what he did. Okay.
The other issue is this. We can count the number of branded pickups that the movement for change used in this country. And everybody knows how many pickups we use. We still have the documentations for it. In every region that we had pickups that were doing campaigns, we know. And what you should understand is that a petition should have certain elements. The legal basis on which the petition was written is there.
What you saying?
And so Zato, allow me. And so you should understand that the management of political parties in Ghana, or managing political party and activities in Ghana, is regulated under the Political Parties Act 2000, just as she has said, Act 574. If you look at Section 21, it talks about the declaration of the sources of funds.
Yeah.
All right. And so we didn't ask Alhaji to come and tell us that he sponsored. That was his words. These were his words. That he has funded the political party NPP than anybody. And that during the elections, he sponsored the party with 300 pickups.
If a political party has a set of regulations, if a party has a set of regulations or an act, it's governed by the members of that political party, is it not? Can a person outside of that political party petition under that act?
He spoke as a Ghanaian. He sponsored the political party, when he was sitting vice president. And we are asking, was it an abuse of office? How did he get it? If there were gifts or there were sponsorship from other individuals, the Political Parties Act makes it clear that you should declare and state the source. It means you have to be able to identify these sponsors. If you receive them as gifts, we have regulations and laws in this country that talks about gifts and how gifts should be treated. Were they done that way? And so all we are asking, or all we seek to do, is for them to be able to explain to Ghanaians.
I think that's not in contention.
That's not in contention.
That's not in contention.
Now, what we should also be looking at is the Anti-Money Laundering Act 2020.
Okay, which anybody are talking
so
about
if,
under.
and I hope you are aware that foreigners are not supposed to fund political activities in our country. I hope you're aware. And if you look into the Anti-Money Laundering Act 2, it is clear. I mean, at a certain level, you need to declare certain
Why
monies.
are you advancing this argument? Are you in any way thinking that maybe he was funded by...
When you write a petition, all right, there is a statement they always say, all right, that you fulfill all righteousness. You try to look at all angles.
So you're hoping...
And that is what we are asking.
Okay,
because we are fighting corruption in this country.
Thank you.
And it's simple as that.
Again, I just want to make something very clear. I have absolutely no problem with any Ghanaian seeking justice, seeking money, for seeking accountability. I have no problem with that. My problem was the motive. Look, this there's one thing that is very, very clear that everybody watching this knows. The presidential aspirations and ambitions of Honorable Alan Kyerema are dead and buried. There's nothing that this Testifly or the Butterfly group can do to wake them up. You cannot wake up a dead corpse. Those are buried and dead. So the question is that whatever you are doing, you will see something happen. The presidential star or the aspirations of Dr. Bawumia are high and above. Let this thing I want to see this thing to the end. I honestly want to see it to the end. I want to see the OSP investigate this.
I don't think that's what he said. He says he doesn't have a problem.
No problem with that.
So what has that got to do with Alan's presidential mission?
You see, the Butterfly people, they are a rented group that have used on one objective.
Rented by who?
Rented by the NDC.
Right.
Rented by the NDC. You've seen them. You see how they are in sync. They say all of a sudden, these are that's the whole objective.
They were members
the whole
of your
objective
party.
is to say that they are your people. And that is why they were hired. That is why they have been procured. I'm telling you, yeah, they did agree. They are disgruntled failed politicians
who are now
we should be
accusing the NPP of funding them.
I just wanted to ask my sister whether Honorable Bizedin should be worried that you're coming for his seat. Are you coming for his seat? No. Honorable Bid is my uncle. Bizedin is my uncle.
Dr. Zato, I gave you the time because I
feel so embarrassed this morning.
Thank you.
To hear a seasoned political researcher make a statement like you have just done. Excuse me, my brother. You think in any way that a party that was led by J.A. Kufuor throughout to this time, a party that had 167 or so seats in parliament, conceding such an unprecedented defeat in the entire political history of this country, you think that anybody will be bothered about the leader or the person that led this political machine into this pit? No.
Okay. Let's
just a second. You see, surprisingly, no person or no one in Ghana here is naming any leader in the NPP or any of their presidential aspirants
as the ones that are...
They themselves are naming their sins. They wake up in the morning, the 10 sins of Kennedy Japan, the 10 sins of Dr. Educhum, the 10 sins of Brian Champon, and you come to name 300 sins of your own self, and we ask you to answer your own questions. Debut, did I tell him to tell Ghanaians that he bought over 300 pickups?
I think that on this table, there's a consensus that there's no challenge in wanting to know the source of funding.
Unless you have something to hide.
So dealing with this, you see, this is his own testimony.
Which I think you made that point already.
Yes.
No, I'm quite curious about the NDC and the chairman who has announced some dates that he is the NDC's chairman will be going on a thank you tour.
Right. Before I come to the NDC's chairman, I just wanted to add a bit more to this political party financing. I think that all of us have a duty to sanitize financing of campaigns and elections in this country, regardless of which party you belong to. We have turned our politics into a contest of wealth and a contest of money. Instead of, Dr. Bawumia says he has ideas, he's rich in ideas. We haven't seen him push forward those ideas. What we have seen is him joining the whole brigade of who has more money to push forward what he has done for the party. And the kind of monetary references they make are alarming. And any well-meaning Ghanaian should be interested in it. There's no problem with them having the money. The question is, how did you get it? Where did it come from? And if you got the money legitimately, you shouldn't be running away from answering questions about where you got it from. We've seen that they are charging development fee of 4 million, filing fee 500,000, nomination fee 100,000. yes, it's okay. It's okay to you know, just set any fee that you want to set. But the people who put forward this money, and who we've had Brian Champong also talk about how much money he has used to finance people, paying people the whole year, huge sums of money running into millions. Dr. Bawumia has also come to tell us he's used what? According to the estimation, millions of dollars for just pickups. Can you imagine how much he has invested in other areas of the party? It's good for him, but it's also exactly. It is. We are allowed to ask questions and get answers. And anyone who is trying to cover that up, there's something that you are preventing us from finding out.
I'm not sure I've seen anybody trying to cover that up yet. Not even on the.
Well, people are pushing. People are pushing here, you know, against the investigation.
And of course,
I mean, what are they hiding?
Zato is good at writing. And so he can easily petition the OSP if he wants to know the source.
Petition the OSP with anyone that you want.
Just like
let's
go to the NDC and
what's the question about Esiedunketia?
Well, since that announcement, that the chairman of the NDC says that from 17th, I think there'll be some number of days. Thank you for. There's been some conversations. The question, or one of the popular opinions, is that the president is on a thank you tour already. What's the chairman of the NDC doing a thank you tour for?
I believe the chairman's thank you tour is on the back of his own national campaign that he embarked on during the campaign period. He went from constituency to constituency. He went around the country from, you know, traversed the length and breadth of this country campaigning for votes for the NDC. And he has decided to go back to the people that he asked for votes to say thank you. It is not within my authority to say how good or how bad that is. We have a general secretary who can decide to say whether it is a good move or not. I do not see anything particularly wrong with the general secretary, our chairman, who is well recognized by the days, to go back to the people that he asked for votes. I mean, there are people in my village I asked for votes. And I have called them to say thank you for voting massively for the NDC. Can you call that a thank you tour? I mean, I have also gone back to my community where I live in Accra here. I have gone around and I have said thank you to them for coming out in their masses to vote for the NDC. I think
what would you say to people who are saying, including, I mean, what would you say to people who are saying that it's just a way to spice up his purported presidential candidate campaign?
He has not announced his candidacy, has he? I mean,
are we also concerned about the fact that there was a video that was circulating on social media which didn't directly announce? But if you know the characteristics of how usually...
I think that some of these things are also manipulated.
But are you concerned that he didn't come out to condemn it or confirm it?
No, but there was nothing wrong with the video. Even if it is a video that he put out himself, which I doubt, I think there was a lot of manipulation from the NPP. They added some music and then they posted it, right? He hasn't come out to...
Why if he wants...
What if he intends to be a candidate? Is there anything wrong with it?
No. Why the NPP?
I'm asking, what if he actually intends to campaign or to run as a candidate? Is it a crime? There's nothing wrong with it. He's perfectly allowed. Just like anyone else, I am allowed to run. I'm allowed to come out and declare my intentions. If he does intend to be a candidate, I think that there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I think there's just much ado about nothing out there. Him, any other member of the NDC that decides to be a candidate is perfectly allowed, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Okay. Dr. Zato.
Yeah, thank you very much. I like the way my sister is saying, and I must say that Bidziedin should be worried. Look,
give me a minute. No, so here is a post by Franklin Kujo. It says that chairman of the NDC party on a thank you tour for what? Chairman, instead, please tour all the Galamsey sites booming with activities and together with the president, declare those areas danger zones. If you're able to do this, you may be on your way to receive the chief successor title. Otherwise, you'll just be an influential toothless general. What do you think of this post by Franklin?
I think that Franklin is entitled to his opinion, and he has made his opinion well known. if you go on that post, there's also counter-arguments, and the counter-arguments are also legitimate, right? Just because someone has made an opinion doesn't make that opinion supreme to other opinions. He's expressing what he thinks and what he feels. There are institutions that are fighting illegal mining. In fact, as of yesterday, there are so many operations against illegal mining communities that have literally completely closed down major illegal mining operations. It is not the duty of the chairman to fight illegal mining.
But
government is doing that. I think it's unfair to suddenly someone else can come out and say that he should go and stabilize something else, right? There are different things we can easily come out and throw at chairman to go and work on. I mean, I could easily come here and say that I think that your job should be this and that and that and that, right? It's an opinion. It doesn't hold supreme to every other opinion. I maintain that the chairman has announced his intentions because he did campaign for the NDC. He is going around to tell those he campaigned to that he is grateful for their votes. If there's anything wrong with it, we have party leadership who can make that decision. It doesn't lie with me. They have the constitution of the party. They know the rules and regulations that govern our party. And if they think that it is okay for chairman to go and, embark on a thank you tour, I think there's nothing wrong with it. And all these allegations of him having any ambitions, I think that ambitions are free and everyone can have an ambition. We should not criminalize anyone just for wanting to be a presidential candidate. Dr. Zato, the NPP's Dr. Zato, keeps saying my member of parliament, the Honorable Bidziedeng, should be worried. He's asking all sorts of questions about my camp. Bidziedeng is actually my uncle.
He's my uncle too.
I campaigned with him.
Yeah, I know Laura. I've been to Laura.
Yeah,
I know the place.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that.
There's a passing of the torch from G to her. I'm just saying.
It's passing on what torch?
I have no idea what he's talking about.
To her, yes.
We have. It would be nice. Very
nice. I agree. I'll contribute to your campaign. Don't worry. I'll donate to your campaign.
Dr. Zato, pay attention.
Have you finished your own campaign? Dr. Zato, have you finished your own campaign?
I can do both.
Okay. Doctor, are you on a certain campaign?
Just like, no. But he did stand one time as a parliamentary candidate for Sisala East, right? Under the ticket of the NPP. No, but if we're talking about people's candidates,
you asked a question, why this? When after the elections, there are something called, there are certain traditions, there are certain normal things to do. Political parties, especially lead candidates, who either win or lose, go back to thank the people, and volunteers and they do that. When His Excellency the President won, he went back, he did that. He went around, he thanked the people. For the first time in the history of the NDC or any political party right now, we are seeing another thank you tour by the chairman of the party. The question is why? It's important for us to understand why is it happening. Look, this is the front page of the Daily Guide, and it says something. Selective justice, mass dismissals, erode Mahama's goodwill. Imani has actually come out with a study. So there are two main reasons why the National Chamber of the NDC is back on the one. It's a panic move. Two, it is the beginning of what I've called the battle royale between the comrades and the cadres in the NDC. I will start with the former. You see?
We are the same. Comrades and cadres, we're the same.
The NDC is now sharply divided into two strong opposing uncompromising camps. One is called the comrades. The comrades are led by His Excellency President Mahama. They are deputized by the Chief of Staff, Julius Debra. They are the people, majority, they have nothing to do with the...
You're saying this confidence.
Yes.
You can confirm these.
Exactly.
Well, these are not...
Yes, I can confirm. The comrades have nothing to do with PNDC. They have nothing to do with General Rawlings.
Hey.
Their loyalty is to one person alone, President Mahama. The comrades now make up almost 80% of the government, all appointees. Those are the comrades. Their leader right now is President Mahama, and their de facto is Julius Debra. That is one camp in it. Two. The second camp is made out.
All the NDC follow.
The second camp is made out of the cadres.
Has it changed?
They're called cadres.
He's making up stories.
The second part I just call cadres. Okay. The cadres, their loyalty was to Jerry John Rawlings. Their loyalty is to the NDC, not an individual. Most of them served in fact, AFRC, PNDC, and they came back. And they are missing, woefully missing the current government. Almost all of them. So you see, that's what I'm saying, that the current government is about almost 80% of comrades and about 20 or 10% of what? Of the cadres. So the question is, as General Asedu Nkadia, the party chairman, represents the cadres. He is the candidate of the cadres. All those who have been ignored, maligned, refused employment or whatever appointment the government, they see Asedu Nkadia as their future hope, as the only person who can win. So what you've now seen is that...
Dr. Zato, to be fair,
that's my theory.
Everybody else...
no, I'm running a theory.
We're doing a peer review on your theory. You can throw your theory at us. We're peer reviewing.
Not everybody can be appointed. Yes.
Fair enough. Of course, so not everybody can be appointed.
Yes.
Now, before you even go further, in November, right here on this channel, was Election Brief, where we followed all of the political parties during their campaigns. And I can confirm to you that we indeed reported that the chairman of the NDC indeed went soliciting for votes. So what's really the novel situation here?
The novel is that, again, I've just told you the novel. This has never happened. When the NDC won power in 2008, you didn't see the national chairman going out separately. When they won power in 2012, you didn't see that happening.
But it wasn't also a very popular
campaign separately.
Yeah, it wasn't a popular act for the chairman to be campaigning separately.
Again, so because of these things you've talked about, it opens the camp for us to now begin to why. And I'm telling you the why. So what you've not seen is that he has launched. So the first shots have been fired. And you've seen that. There are members of the NDC. Ras Mubarak took him on yesterday. And there are also members of the NDC supporting what he's doing. The camps have divided. You have seen the division of those camps. You have seen the people that are pro Asedu Nkadia cheering him on. You've seen the long convoy yesterday going on and telling people that if you are not appointed, have hope. If you don't have a job now, have hope. I'm saying that these are the battle lines. This battle between the cadres and the communists will be, they will make Game of Thrones looks like child's play.
Okay, nice that you have brought this on. And I'm going to go to Nana. My question, give me a minute. Your question, my question to you is that at the time that Asedu Nkadia or the chairman of the NDC decided to go soliciting for votes, I didn't see divided opinions.
That's exactly what I said before.
I didn't see divided opinions. But now
there's divided opinions.
So what
Where is the divided opinion? No. I think that Dr. Zato is trying to look for a war in the NDC to equalize what is going on in the MPP right now in the lead up to their primaries.
Dr. Zato out.
His party is engaged in tribal, corrupt politics, and the NDC has nothing to do with it.
Let's talk about optics.
Mentions, great.
Let's talk about optics.
Look, there are no divisions
last year,
in the NDC
I didn't see that there was a concern about why is President Mahama, the then ex-president...
Who is raising the concern today?
I had not seen it, but today, Ras Mubarak had a post.
Ras Mubarak's post, let me check.
And another MP has
he deleted the post because I don't see it.
We'll figure it out.
Has Ras Mubarak deleted the post?
Not even within the party. With Franklin Kujo of Imani, I didn't see because
but Franklin Kujo is not an NDC.
Not that. We're asking that why didn't people question why the chairman of a party was going for a campaign soliciting for votes at the time? But now he's going for a thank you tour. We're a community. We're a country and society.
Listen,
what do you think is triggering?
I think it's rather disingenuous to watch the chairman go on a campaign and have no questions about why he's campaigning. Then when he decides to go on a thank you tour, we have questions about why he's going on a thank you tour. There have been many allegations made about divisions and cadres against who. Listen,
comrades.
Look. There's no difference between cadres and comrades in the NDC. Cadres are who? Grassroots politicians. They engage in community mobilization. They work more. Who am I? I'm a grassroots politician. I'm a foot soldier. Cadres are foot soldiers. Comrades are the same people, members of the NDC. There is no difference. All of us are members of the NDC. Okay. You cannot divide us based on who started with PNDC and who is in NDC. It's the same party at the end of the day. All those who are NDC members support President John Dramani Mahama and are committed to ensuring a successful execution of his tenure as president. And while he is president, we are all rallying behind him and ensuring that his term is a successful one.
I'm not sure about this morning whether Ras Mubarak has deleted it, but yesterday we've got receipts.
Well, I just checked and
I'm just reading it to you. Thank you tours are led by candidates.
Did you screenshot it or something?
I mean, because I work in the newsroom. We've got
because I went to his wall and I didn't see it.
Okay, so I'm giving it to you. Don't worry about it. It's very verified. Thank you tours are led by candidates, presidential or parliamentary candidates, if it's a constituency tour, who lead a party into an election in partnership with party executives.
Never throughout NDC's history has a national chairman, after an NDC victory, decided he is going on a thank you tour. Aside that, the flag bearer, in collaboration with the party, has done or is doing. This is dangerous precedent and unnecessary distraction to the government. Nobody must be allowed to hide under a thank you tour to advance their premature presidential ambitions. It's intolerable, and the chairman must be blatantly told so.
I think the chairman himself has cautioned persons who are engaged in projecting themselves as potential presidential candidates. He himself has admonished us to focus on the term at hand and to ensure that we deliver to the best of our abilities. That is what we're doing. Ras Mubarak's post, again, I think he has deleted it. Does that mean that he has changed his mind or he has changed his opinion? Since it's no longer on his wall, then I have to wonder if that is what he really stands by. We are all allowed to have an opinion and to change it based on information that we receive. I believe that he has probably now received information that makes him understand what is going on. Again, I say, if there's anything wrong with what the chairman is doing, the General Secretary will decide.
Okay.
Yes.
Nanayao, you followed the two arguments on what it looks like or what it doesn't look like for the NDC chairman to go on a thank you tour. What's your position?
Yes, I would come on that. But before I do, I think you were talking about rich in ideas.
No, I've not. I've not talked about that. But if you, I can talk.
Address that. Yeah.
I can talk about that.
I was expecting them to be telling us the ideas they are rich in, instead of contesting money.
On
but you don't want to hint on it anymore because
no, I'm going to hint on it.
You see, that's the collaboration.
No, Doctor,
that's the beautiful
I moderate
collaboration.
this conversation.
Because
do you still want
when I just picked up the Business and Financial Times, then I saw a headline: AfCFTA digital trade protocols hailed as a game changer for intra-Africa trade. Then it came to mind. The main brain behind AfCFTA was Alan John Kojo Tremantin when he worked there at
the Trade Ministry.
Not at the Trade Ministry, when he was with AU.
Okay.
So main brain behind them. These are rich ideas. When we're talking about rich ideas, we are talking about ideas like
so it's Alan who has the rich ideas.
Automobile development policy that has seen the turnaround of the automobile industry, bringing in giant companies like Nissan, Toyota that are assembling plants
under the MPP regime, right?
In Ghana.
As an MPP minister.
We are talking about rich ideas. We are talking about the business
as an MPP minister of state
that was established.
The same MPP you are running down now. You see the irony. He did this under the leadership of
Akufo-Addo. Dr. Zato.
Let's finish this.
The post is still on.
Of course, when
on his Facebook page.
When you do not have ideas to the rich, so-called rich ideas to present, and when you talk about 30 or 33 policies which are unidentified and that cannot be seen, and somebody is mentioning his, you would vibrate like the way Dr. Zato is vibrating, and I'm surprised. But moving on. See,
I think Dr. Zato naturally is a person who likes to look like he's vibrating, so I will not accept such words on him. But please proceed to do not respond.
You know, he can be very calm.
He's always
calm. He's always calm until you have contested what he has said.
Okay.
And then he begins. I don't know what happens to him. Okay. But let's move on.
On the NDC matter.
When you read Franklin Kujo's post, what came to mind was that, does that mean that Franklin Kujo has not gotten a hint of the efforts being put in by the Lands and Natural Resources Minister and the current government, at least on the fight against Galamsey? In as much as that we still do have ideas and we have presented some more of the ideas to the current government. I mean, if you look recently, the Movement for Change presented a 10-pointer on how to deal with the issues of Galamsey. But at least, let's appreciate, for once, what has been done. Let us look at the achievement of NAMOS.
Since you presented it, have they?
Oh, no, some of them have been. We've seen some of them being undertaken. The steps to repeal the act that we're all fighting for. I think is it 2462?
To mine in
that is Zato's favorite act.
The act that was forced on us by the...
I just still keep quiet, right? I just still keep quiet.
I mean, steps have been put in place to repeal it and to present a new one to Ghanaians. We look at the consolidation, all right? Or
we'll talk about it. You can hold it.
He just said something.
Please hold it.
This is a total indictment on the leadership of President John Mahama on Galamsey by the Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference.
Wait, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Please. So
we would interrogate this. You see, you don't bring our bishops into your
They have. This was reported.
No. I understand. But you see, sometimes the context.
The context is that he's doing nothing about Galamsey.
It's important. Now, if you look at Nemos.
I mean, blue water guards were inaugurated, were they not?
Mami water guards?
It's in, of course, it works for him to...
Blue water guards have said it.
No, you're just making claims. There's nothing wrong
more
with
like
them pushing
watchdogs.
for this to be done.
You understand me? But at least, if you read a report by Nemos, all right, the over 300 plus structures that have been destroyed within 72 hours. If you look at the over 440 excavators that were seized, all right, that have been, if you look at the system that has been put in place by the Minister for Environment and the DVLA in sanitizing the excavators was an importation into our country. If you look at the current declaration as security zones that were done by the president, at least, whilst we push them to do more, whilst we hold them to be accountable, all right, let us at least mention the little things that they have done. But to tell a political party's chairman to be the one to lead this crusade, you have not been fair. Franklin Kujo, in all honesty, what has a political party's chairman got to do with the touring of Galamsey sites to fight Galamsey? Let us rather hold the government accountable to the innovative ideas that many Ghanaians have presented. And if they have not been able to handle these ideas or have not been able to exhibit a political will in fighting it, then we can question it. But to say that a political party's chairman should go on a tour, you're not being fair.
I mean, of course, Franklin Kujo is not a politician, at least not publicly that we know. So if we put him aside,
every one of us.
Are you curious about, or no partisan? A good word to use, aside the politician.
Every one of us. They are all partisan politicians. All of them.
Who are
Everybody of us. Every single soul. You belong somewhere. You either belong to left or right or center left or center right. You belong to an idea. You belong to something. You can't live in vacuum.
I like to think that, of course, people belong to ideas. I am talking about people publicly saying that they belong to a particular political party. But I am saying that Franklin Kujo, as we know, let's just put his comment aside. You have made the point that, well, asking a party's chairman to be part of what governance is supposed to be is uncalled for. But are you concerned about...
Not what governance is supposed to be.
What they're supposed to do?
Yes, I mean, Asedun Ketia or Chairman Stephen Ayensu of the NPP or my leader, Boniface Abubakar Sadiq, how are they able to tour when the president himself has even stated that they have established a secretariat that is supposed to coordinate? And so whichever entity, whichever agency, whichever individual that has information should channel their information to the secretariat. Okay. You understand? And so why? I mean,
but are you concerned about Ras Mubarak's comment?
I have not read his comment, but of course he's a party foot soldier. All right, he has been a member of parliament. He's risen through the ranks, and he knows what he's talking about. If he thinks that what his party chairman is doing he needs to be cautioned, or he needs the line has to be drawn, and he has raised that. That so be it. I mean, I do not want to mingle in their affairs. That is their home affairs. Let them deal with it.
Okay.
But you see, it is better. It is better to have a voice in a political party, all right, and it will be respected and well dealt with, and you will not be insulted and intimidated, than to belong to a political party where, when you have been able to identify an issue or raise an issue, then you are being seen as the evil, a devil within the political party. It is better to have a structure, a formidable foundation moving and working, than to have a political party that will not even give you the opportunity to establish what you have seen. And of course, we've been in this country where members of political parties would raise issues and they are sacked unconstitutionally. We've been in this country where you would raise an issue or mention or say something about a particular person's activities, and then your life is threatened, and then you are intimidated. We've been in this country. And so if they have decided to allow him to say what he's saying, they have moved from those days. Because some years back, it was one political party that seemed to have been the most attractive political party to elites and to the ordinary Ghanaian. But today, what do we see? Make a statement and it is against them, and it's chaos. And that is not the way to build political activities.
Okay.
Political
I just wanted to add that I have checked.
I'll give you 30 seconds.
You mentioned that Ras Mubarak's post is still up. And I have checked, and yes, he still has the post up. I think that he's allowed still to have his own opinion. I do not begrudge him that. But you also notice that there's a lot of argument under that post. The opinions of the people who agree with it are as valid as the opinions of those who disagree with it. I, however, think that it is commendable that the NDC allows its members to hold individual opinions.
What he wrote, do you think is an opinion or is a fact? He stated history.
No, he's speaking based on his experience of the party, right? But like I said, if it is something that is not allowed in the NDC, the General Secretary would decide that.
Okay, please take 30 seconds to respond. We're going to other issues in the news.
I just like the fact that the movement for change and the NDC are one and the same when they come to this. When you talk about NDC,
let
me make this point.
Completely different.
There's bloody battle between the cadres and the comrades.
You made the point.
It's imaginary.
The point I'm going to make is
let's not allow
I indicated
let's not allow this misinformation.
Which one?
What is the definition?
It's exactly disinformation. You cannot tell us that there's a...
What is the definition of a comrade?
Actually,
he talked about...
What is the definition of the Pan-Africans?
I have told you that comrades, we are...
But the person who belongs to the
party... I've also told you that cadres are grassroots persons, and we are all grassroots persons.
What I want you to understand is
no, his theory is unfounded. His theory is wrong.
If you have attended any meeting of Pan-Africans,
I thought it was...
they refer to themselves as comrades. Comrades are individuals who share in one idea and belong to same organization. Am I right? So I do not understand why he would want to differentiate.
I think that no one who belongs to the NDC has made that clarity. So
it becomes difficult if probably somebody meets me and I'm a member of a Pan-African organization and calls me comrade.
Can you make the point without this? Can you make the point?
I shouldn't go back to the communist.
Why would you want to?
Thank you. He brought about the... So he brought about...
You seem rather obsessed with the NDC members, the comrades and the cadres.
He brought about the...
But we should be interested also in a political party that started a thank you tour that could never finish.
Okay, the two of
that
you.
ended up
Let's be kind to Dr.
chaotic manner that stumbled.
Oh, we've been kind to... He's the one who is harassing all of us here. He has been heckling and harassing all of us here.
So he's going to the Catholic conference.
Your party started a thank you tour. They were beating each other.
Because I have read that statement extensively, and I do not see comrades and cadets in there.
Thank you. He brought about an issue about Galamsey, and I just want to continue there. The Ghana Catholic Bishop Conference have this to say about Galamsey. They said, look, yet in the face of this, the President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, appears not to grasp the existential scale of this menace.
Give him water.
Then they went on. This is how they ended us, and they said, the hour is late. Delay is betrayal. Now, not tomorrow, not later, is the time to act. This is the damning verdict on the President of the Republic of Ghana. Go and get your own. On how he is not fighting the Galamsey fight. Look, these men, remember, they have said this again. In fact, the Catholic Archbishop of Accra went on the street of Accra praying the rosary. I am a Catholic. I know what it means for a bishop to lead a prayer of the rosary on the streets of Accra before the elections. This means a lot to them. And they are now telling us that the president has woefully failed on that fight. And it's true. Their general their national organization.
The president does not appreciate the existential threat does not amount to failure.
It does. What does that mean? Existential. Remember the word, the emphasis on existential. It means our very existence of the world based on that. So if you don't grasp that, our very existence depends on this. Then you feel it. That's the point they're saying. They say our very existential crisis depends on this.
We have other matters in the news.
No. I just need to respond. You're not responding to anything.
Okay. I will respond.
Okay, good. Okay, go ahead. Then I'll also respond.
No. But you are the one saying something and I'm responding. So you don't have to. No. So it's only fair balance. Listen, he has pulled up the statement by the Catholic bishops, which I commend as a Catholic, that the Catholic bishops are making their voices heard in governance. What I'm surprised is that he states that he's a Catholic, but it looks like he's a Catholic with memory loss, because you are able to pull up what they said today, forgetting what the same Catholic bishop said in October 2024. Were you not in this country? Is this the first time that Catholic bishops have spoken against Galamsey? Catholic bishops spoke against Galamsey during the Akufo-Addo administration. Why don't you remember that? Why is it suddenly so special to you today? It is okay for them to involve themselves in governance. It is something that is encouraged for all facets of society to involve themselves in governance. It is allowed for them to make their opinion known and to push and encourage the president to act on matters that they feel are pressing to them. It is commendable. The same Catholic bishops in October 11th, 2024, they had a whole conference.
They have been consistent in their call.
So don't make it seem like something peculiar to today's NDC. No.
He won't be wrong. I think that
no. Government has done a lot of work where Galamsey is concerned. Yesterday, NIMOS has been out there ensuring that Galamsey communities completely dismantled. They've been in the Desiri Forest Reserve. That's in what? Brongahafo, Mankroso.
Can you mention any new thing they've done that has never been done before?
Listen.
What is
NIMOS has been working.
There's nothing novel about that.
That's for the conversation.
There's also nothing novel about the Catholic bishops
in the news
to talk about Galamsey.
My guest, that statement cannot be a separate statement for us to discuss.
No.
Agree,
so
right?
A quick one. Do you see, if you ask Zato that what is the idea or suggestion you would want to make to government, you say state of emergency.
No, I won't say that.
What extent? Now listen. Just a second.
Let's talk about.
If you read the paragraph 7,
I have read, and it's not different from what one said that they have said last year in 2025 as well.
But we stress a declaration whilst urgent is insufficient. The point is that the president himself has admitted and said that just declaring a state of emergency would amount to nothing. But rather, let us look at the scientific steps that have been taken.
That's public knowledge. That's public knowledge.
So every single thing.
I'm certain that yesterday you may have heard about this. You may have heard that Gertrude is about to back in court contesting her removal as an ordinary.
But what is most important to me? What is most important to me is the call by the Catholic Bishops' Conference to all of us to have a mindset change in getting this wealth.
Do you not want to talk about the Chief Justice?
No, I rather would want to talk. I want to talk about the
removal of an honorary justice.
I want to talk about the 21%.
A different path than their process of removing a CJ, and so the president could not have used one process to remove her as both Chief Justice and a judge of the Supreme Court. And so by now you know that she's headed for a judicial review at the High Court. I'm curious. No, I want to take this. It's the fact that Dr. Zato is elected.
Give my paper.
I will come back.
Give my paper.
I'll come back.
What do you make of this? Did you see this coming?
No, I didn't. But it's not surprising because the CJ, in the space of how many months, has filed a lot of, applications, suits, all of that in court. She has gone as far as courts outside of this country. So far, none of them has really gone the way that she wishes. I think that in this particular one, she is trying to decouple her role as a Supreme Court judge from her role as a CJ. I'm not a lawyer, but looking at it, the roles, the two of them are constitutionally linked, right? The role of the membership of the Supreme Court is inherent to your role as a Chief Justice, right? You cannot take one away from the other. You became the Chief Justice because you were a judge of the Supreme Court. It is not possible to become the CJ without being a judge of the Supreme Court. So the two roles are one as far as I'm concerned. So if you have been accused of misconduct as a CJ, you were acting in your capacity as head of the Supreme Court. That is how you are a CJ. So I think that the two roles are, one and the same, and it looks very impossible to me to convince me that being a Supreme Court judge is completely different from being a Chief Justice. If you've been removed from one, it applies to the other. But I guess the court will decide, right? It's in court, so the court will make the ultimate decision about that.
Okay, let me bring in Inusa Fuseni, who's just joining us.
Oh, great.
He's a lawyer and former member of parliament as well. Thank you for joining us this morning. When you saw that it's hard to get used to the former Chief Justice. It will take some time to get used to that. But when you saw that she had applied for judicial review, did it come to you as a surprise? And walk us through the processes constitutionally and how that can really amount to how possible this is.
So let me thank you, Emefa, and your co-host for calling me and seeking my opinion on this matter this morning, and to your numerous listeners. Now, when I heard of the Chief Justice's application to the court for a judicial review of the decision of the president, I was taken aback. In fact, I was shocked. Because the decision of the president is founded on a recommendation by the committee established under Article 1466. And a careful reading of the Constitution will reveal that the president is bound by the recommendations of a committee set up under the Constitution, either under Article 1463 or under Article 1466. And so the president cannot depart from the decision of either of the committees established under Article 146. So what judicial review is she's seeking it? A judicial review of a decision of the president to abide by the recommendations of the committee established to look into the petitions that raise a prima facie case against her, or what? Because the Constitution does not say that the decision of such a committee is subject to judicial review. And the president did not make that decision.
But does this Constitution not allow that a decision of a quasi-judicial committee or commission can, if you do not agree to it, you can seek a review of it of the High Court, or this particular committee, you cannot describe it as such?
No. A careful reading of the Constitution does not reveal that this committee established under Article 146 or a similar committee established under Article 1463 is subject to the judicial review jurisdiction of the High Court.
Okay. Please stay with me. Let me bring in Alfred Tiayobo, private legal practitioner. Seeing the application for the Chief Justice to want to review this decision, not the entire decision really, if you look at it, she says that the decision of the president to remove her from the bench, she doesn't think that the president had the power to remove her from the bench. Do you agree with this? Do I have Mr. Yeboah on?
Alfred Yeboah?
Yeah.
Former Deputy Attorney General. Oh, okay.
Please, did you hear my question? When you saw the application for the judicial review, particularly on her removal of the removal from the bench?
Yes, I've seen the application. I've gone through the application, and I see merit in the application. Now, if you look at the jurisdiction of the committee, as you really indicated when you were having a conversation with Honorable Inusa, you realize that it is a lower adjudicating body. Even committees of inquiry, their decisions can equally also be questioned. So this particular committee set up by the President pursuant to Article 146. It's not a committee that you can say has limitless powers and can do anything that it wants to do. That committee is subject to other provisions in the committee, even though no explicitly stated. So far as a committee, any aggrieved person can go to the High Court, invoke the supervisory jurisdiction of the High Court to challenge certain aspects of their report. In this particular case, the case of the former CJ is that the petitions against her were for her removal as the Chief Justice of the Republic. Especially if you read the petition that was heard and got her removed. And so, if the committee that sat on the matter were to determine any other issues, the only issues arising out of that petition definitely were issues relating to her capacity as the Chief Justice and not as the Judge of Superior Court of Judicature.
Will it not be quite odd in law? Will it not be quite odd to know that the position that allows her to be the Chief Justice will not be in question?
That is rather, this proposition rather make it odd. You see, you must first and foremost be a superior court judge because before you can be appointed as the Chief Justice. And so it is permissible and possible legally to lose your position as the Chief Justice, but still keep your position as a superior court judge. In any event, a Chief Justice may choose to resign as a Chief Justice, but that will not mean that she has resigned or he has resigned as a superior court judge. And so every Chief Justice wears two hats, as I explained yesterday. However, on the flip side, if you want to remove a Chief Justice, you have various options. You may want to remove that Chief Justice as a judge of the Superior Court. If you succeed in that one, automatically, the position of the Chief Justice is also lost.
Okay.
But if you start from up, and that one succeeds, it does not mean that the second one, the head position, will also have to go. Let me give you this example. If you go to Parliament now, you have the first and second deputy speakers being members of Parliament, and are also first and second deputy speakers. Does it mean that if Parliament by resolution decides to remove the first deputy speaker and they succeed in doing so, it means that he's also going to lose his position as a member of Parliament? No. So if you want a CJ to remove the judge of the Superior Court, you must expressly, in your petition, indicate that the CJ, apart from her administrative duties as a CJ, is also not fit to be on the bench by virtue of reasons A, B, C, and D. If you fail to do so, as well as to tell you, the costs are not there to give unsolicited relief. If you have not sought for removal of a person as a superior court judge, the committee sitting on it cannot make orders on relief that you are seeking. I know some lawyers may be thinking that there's a decision of HANA, IEC, and the rest, but in terms of this particular committee, the question I pose is, after the hearing of the matter, did they recommend to the President that the Chief Justice be removed as a Chief Justice as well as a justice of the Superior Court?
Well,
if that was not the situation where the president, with all due respect, erred by issuing that warrant, removing the Chief Justice as a Chief Justice, as well as a Justice of the Superior Court of Judicature.
For purpose of learning, just some purpose of education this morning, assuming that report by the committee included that she be removed because they found out that maybe the processes of removing a Chief Justice will be nearly the same processes that will be used to remove a Justice of the Supreme Court, and the Constitution says the President shall be bound by it, will they have erred then? Will the President have erred then?
In that case, the President may file a defense and say, yes, I only followed the recommendations. And that will be a defense for the President. But the committee may then be sued in the same manner so that that aspect of the recommendation will be quashed.
Okay. Let me go to, again, I'll bring you in, Senator Fuseni. This committee, how would you describe it? Because would it mean that it has limitless power? The Chief Justice cannot seek a review, nothing at all. It begins and ends there. Do you have Mr. Fuseni on?
1969 Constitution. The procedure for the removal of a Justice of the Superior Court of Judicature was provided for elaborately in the 1969 Constitution. It was called a tribunal, judicial tribunal, in the 1969 Constitution. Subsequently, under the 1979 and the 1992 Constitution, it changed into a committee. My view is that that committee's jurisdiction is not subject to judicial review. And I'm going to give you example. I'm going to tell you why I think so. Mr. Atu, the former Deputy Attorney General cites the example of a Deputy Speaker of Parliament, and says that if a person is removed as a Deputy Speaker of Parliament, does he lose the position as a member of Parliament?
Yeah.
So the analogy is wrong. It's wrong in the sense that you can only be a Deputy Speaker of Parliament if you are a Member of Parliament. So you can only be a Chief Justice if you are a Justice of the Superior Court of Judicature, and particularly the Supreme Court. So when you are a Member of Parliament and you are elected to the position of a Deputy Speaker of Parliament, and you lose your status as a Member of Parliament, you lose your position as a Deputy Speaker.
Okay, but Mr. Alfred Chiayobo's argument is that...
number one.
Yeah, but let's stay there a bit. Let's stay there a bit. His argument is that it is from top bottom. If the petition was to remove her as a Justice of the Supreme Court, then if that succeeds, then automatically she can't be the Chief Justice as well. If we take that to Parliament, if a person is Deputy Speaker, and of course you can only be Deputy Speaker if you're a Member of Parliament, right? If you lose your position as Deputy Speaker because you were voted into Parliament as a Member of Parliament, could you lose your seat?
No. So you are looking at logical consistency. There must be a basis for a person occupying a position. The eligibility criteria for you to become a Deputy Speaker of Parliament is that you are a Member of Parliament. The eligibility criteria for you to become a Chief Justice is that you are a Justice of the Supreme Court.
Right.
So you must understand that one. So if the foundation is the basis for your election or elevation to a Chief Justice or a Deputy Speaker no longer exists, you cannot occupy that position. So you cannot put something on nothing. Number two, when you read Ajay Chum and the Attorney General, there is no prima facie in Article 1466. There's no requirement for the establishment of a prima facie for a petition for the removal of the Chief Justice. But how did the court resolve that issue? The court resolved that issue this way. because the Chief Justice is the Justice of the Superior Court of Judicature, and because Justices of the Superior Court of Judicature in the petition for their removal requires the establishment of a prima facie, you must necessarily, by necessary implication, read into Article 146 the requirement for a prima facie. If not, you will discriminate against the Chief Justice by reason of not treating her the same as a Justice of the Superior Court of Judicature or as other Justices of the Superior Court of Judicature under Article 146. Number 3, when you look at the head note, depending on the constitution that you have, some constitutions put it as a head note, others put it as a side note of Article 146 of the Constitution. The head note talks about the removal of Justices of the Superior Court of Judicature and Chairman of Regional Tribunals. The head note of Article 146 does not talk about the removal of a Chief Justice.
Yeah.
And so, when the application is brought to the President, or no, a petition is sent to the President, principally, it is for the removal of a Justice of the Superior Court of Judicature under Article 146.
Okay.
So, lastly, look at Article 146(1). The conditions under which a Justice of the Superior Court of Judicature can be removed applies to the Chief Justice. There is no different conditions under which a Chief Justice can be removed. That should tell you that a Chief Justice position is coterminous to that position of a Justice of the Superior Court of Judicature and is amenable to the procedure provided for the removal of Justices of the Superior Court of Judicature in Article 146.
Okay. Mr. Yabwa, again, for purpose of learning this morning, if you look at that committee, because it constitutes or it had justices of the Supreme Court, in fact, one as chair, if their report or their findings or their decision, because of our conversation, is then subjected to the review of the High Court, what does it look like legally?
That is the legal position, my sister. If you are even the Chief Justice and you sit in a committee and you come out with a report, that report can be questioned by way of judicial review at the High Court. It matters not the persons who sat on that committee, and there are various precedents to that effect. So when it comes to judicial review, you're not looking at whether you were the Chief Justice who sat on the matter or the Justice of the Court or of the Supreme Court.
Right.
And so the High Court is the appropriate forum for the examination of the particular matter. But maybe let me respond quickly to my learned friend, Honorable Staley. Now, a point has been made by him that you can be removed as a Chief Justice, and the moment you are removed, automatically you forfeit your membership on the bench. I beg to differ. If you look at the Constitution, Article 146, it has done two things. First one is the removal of superior court judges. Second one is with regard to the removal of the Chief Justice. It's not for fun that the Constitution decided to segregate that kind of superior court judges and then the Chief Justice. So the Constitution contemplates a situation where the Chief Justice may be removed as the Chief Justice, quash Chief Justice, which may relate to the Chief Justice performance an administrative officer or head of the judiciary. In that regard, he performs administrative functions. So if you want to remove a Chief Justice, quash Chief Justice, you focus on her administrative function, the Chief Justice. If you want to remove a superior court judge who in any way does not perform administrative functions, you look at that person's judicial function. And so far as the decisions that we had, especially the one that was heard, the other two, the one that was heard, does not relate to the Chief Justice's performance as a judge, but as the Chief Justice. If that one has succeeded, CJ could be removed, but her position as CJ is still intact because her judicial functions have not been questioned by this particular petition. In any event, you look at the three main grounds that the committee came up with. None of them relate to the Chief Justice in her capacity as a Superior Court judge.
Okay.
And this legal tenable.
Okay.
I pose this question. So if the Chief Justice decides to resign as a Chief Justice, does it mean that she also has resigned as a judge of the Superior Court? If the answer is no, then it's also possible that a Chief Justice may be removed the Chief Justice but to maintain her position as a judge of the Superior Court.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Alfred Tiayewa, for joining us today, at least to give us some clarity on this. And as well, Mr. Enisa Fuseni, thank you as well for walking us through the 3 pointers. But I've also been joined by Albert Kwashiga, Head of Public Law, UPSA. Thank you for joining us this morning, Mr. Kwashiga. Surely, you must have seen this application for judicial review by the Chief Justice. What does it look like for you?
Well, good morning, and thank you for this opportunity. Yes, I have seen the application. I think I saw it yesterday. It was forwarded to me by one of your people, and I've had the chance to read through. And I think it's an interesting application. I must say that I am not surprised that we have gotten here with that application, because I mean, on the 1st of September, when the Chief Justice was removed, I mean, this argument came up, and it looked like we were divided on the matter, whether the removal from office as Chief Justice automatically removes removes her as a Justice of the Superior Court. So there was clear, I mean, division on the matter, and I'm not surprised that this application has come. I mean, I've seen the application. I think it's filed by a lawyer whom I respect a lot. Dukusi is a great lawyer. You have to see him in court. He fights until he can fight no more. So I have a lot of respect for him. And so when he's filed a process like this, and you want to consider it, you ought to be extremely careful about the way you consider it. And I've looked at the application. While I think that on the face of the application, there may be, I mean, some merits. There are other, arguments that you have to draw your mind to. And if we were to do that, I think that this application may have a number of challenges. That's what I want to say for that. Yeah.
Okay, you want to walk us through some of the challenges on the face of it, at least.
All right. So it is true that when you look at Article 146(4) and 146(6), 146(4) deals with the process for the removal of, let me say, ordinary justices of the Supreme Court. And 146(6) deals with the removal of the Chief Justice itself. I mean, clearly on the face of it, the two processes are not the same. Okay? And so the CJ is, first of all, a Justice of the Superior Court before she was appointed to the office of the Chief Justice. So the bottom line is that she is a Chief Justice. Now, this is how the bottom line is that she's a Justice of the Superior Court, first of all, before she is a Chief Justice. Now, this is how I look at it. I look at it from the perspective of the qualifications for appointment as a Superior Court Justice, the basis for removal. Now, if you look at the Constitution closely, you'll find out that when it comes to the appointment of a Justice of the Superior Court, right? The qualifications are there. You must be someone with proven integrity and be of high moral character.
Yeah.
Okay, that is it. And then if you look at the qualification for a Chief Justice, there is nothing in the Constitution which separates the qualifications for being a Chief Justice from being a Justice of the Superior Court.
Okay.
And so if you want to remove the Chief Justice, there are no other grounds except to consider those grounds for the removal of a Justice of the Superior Court. which are stated misbehavior, incompetence, grounds of inability to perform the functions of her office, amongst others. So to the extent that the framers of the Constitution do not create a separate ground qualification and removal for a Chief Justice, I would imagine, and I would imagine and conclude or come to the conclusion that when you are removed as a Chief Justice, automatically, it affects your position as a Justice of the Superior Court.
Otherwise, we may have to subject her through the same processes that she went through.
Precisely.
Okay.
Yeah, precisely. Precisely. Because there's no. It's from the reading the Constitution in totality, right? You will see that. Look, if the framers wanted a different ground or a different standard for measuring the performance of the Chief Justice in administrative and supervisory capacity, I'm sure framers would have said it.
Okay.
They would have given us something else, but they haven't.
And finally, quickly, before I let you go on this matter, would be that Mr. Inditafuseni thinks that the report of this committee set up to investigate this particular matter is quite final. Well, Mr. Alfred Tiaibwa thinks that, of course, it cannot be final. The Chief Justice can still challenge the report from this particular committee. What's your position on this?
Well, let me say that I am tempted to, when I looked at the Constitution over and over again, I was tempted to take the view that is held by distinguished lawyer, senior Inditafuseni, that it appears that the work of the committee is final. Once they are done, they become functions, that's the end, and that it cannot be questioned. But if you look at the general architecture of our Constitution, it's difficult to take the view that there is an act that can take place under the Constitution cannot be questioned by judicial review or by some other process. I think that it would be difficult to put ourselves in a situation where we create committees or bodies who can act and not be questioned in a court of competent jurisdiction. I do not think that is what the framers. I do not think that would even be in consonance with good governance practices and around the world.
So we find ourselves on a T-junction where the Constitution provides that a committee's decision can be reviewed by the High Court. Then we find ourselves with a committee that is set up under Article 146 that ends up saying that the final report shall be. The president is bound by the report and the use of shall. Yeah. We're then in the middle of it. I'm sure that this Chief Justice application will then probably bring some clarity to this confusion, would it not?
Well, you see it will. It will bring some clarity. It will bring some clarity. Now, there's one more thing I'd like to comment on before I take it off you. There's something interesting. The warrant of removal that was issued on 1st September 2025 was in respect of the Chief Justice's office, right? And subsequently, I think it was also a removal as the Justice of the Superior Court.
Okay.
Now, the application is seeking to declare as null and void the entire warrant. Right? It is difficult also to think that if the CJ is now challenging only her removal as a Superior Court judge,
right,
why do you ask for total annulment of the warrant? Should it not be even part of it? And so it creates a problem. You cannot say that, the entire warrant should go because you are challenging a part
of the report, right?
I'm thinking that I have a lot of respect for Senator Duku. I think that this issue, because we are divided and it seems not to be clear, may be a constitutional action, an interpretation action. If we think that you would be a better suit to clarify,
right,
from the totality of Article 146, 146, and 144, and all the other provisions. So right, that's how I see. But it's an interesting application. Hopefully, it sheds light on our disagreements on this matter.
Thank you so much, Mr. Albert Koshiga, for joining us today on this matter. Back in the studio, I see that you've been itching. Something on your chair.
Yes.
Something is on your chair.
Yes.
Tell me. We've got
a free legal education that we've never paid for. So it's not easy to have such powerful lawyers giving you an education that you've never paid for. But that's what I'm saying. So now when you pray for the rain, you must also expect the mud. And I'm saying that tomorrow, the legal profession will thank this woman. Tomorrow, lawyers will honor this woman. Tomorrow, lawyers will thank her. Because look, she is subject, these rulings that are happening, there's something that I think the lawyers call jurisprudence. And I'm thinking that these rulings, forcing the courts to make these rulings, help to expand the legal jurisprudence around removal of Chief Justice. These laws have never been tested. If the woman had simply just folded and gone to a place and probably, as somebody people said, resigned, we wouldn't have tested these laws. So I'm happy, one, that these laws are being tested again and again. I believe that in the next, very soon, law lecturers, professors of law will cite some of these cases for their students to read as to how to prepare and come for this. The lawyers representing both the petitioners and the Chief Justice have also contributed a lot to this. And I won't be surprised that very soon, students of law will be reading these things, because I can tell you something, that from where I'm looking at, we have gotten to a juncture where every new president will come to office with his or her Chief Justice and when leave with his or her Chief Justice. The era of retributive Chief Justice selection and judicial system has been set, because when you remove a whole Chief Justice who is an equal arm of government, you set a very bad and dangerous precedent, and you cannot just wish it away.
Right.
But I want to say there's something similar.
Again.
No, quickly, there's something similar with the justices and academics. We call tenure.
Okay.
The tenure system. I just want to, and that is why I'm looking at it as more like, if you are a head of department at the University of Ghana, Legon, if you are a dean at the University of Ghana, Legon, or if you are a pro-vice chancellor in charge of something, and you are removed from that office, I think in Legon, if you're, let's say you are head of department, and your responsibility as a head of department are questioned, you are moved as a head of department, you just go back to lecturing. You just go back to your office and continue with lecturing.
I think also, as if you hear the arguments, lawyers are saying that the basis of the removal matters.
Yes.
The basis of the removal, because it cannot be said that the basis for which you are removed as the head will be very different from, for example, if you committed a crime.
Exactly. So in this case,
it's not a.
I'm just trying to understand if to try to see if there's something. So if the basis of your removal is that as a head of department you did something in your administrative rule that's wrong.
That's why it is the E.
That's different.
Then it means that we must now go back.
So that is why I'm saying that I'm happy she's brought this up, so that as we get more of these rulings, as we get more of this, as we subject these laws to this critical analysis and scrutiny, they help to broaden our knowledge, our understanding, and our appreciation of the law, and that is a good thing for all of us.
The term, and I'll give the final minutes to Noah. I'm just biased this morning, but
I'm happy. I'm happy Zato is saying that we should allow time, but I belong to the school of thought that she was removed as Chief Justice, and for that matter, looking at, I'm not a lawyer, but looking at it, then she should have been allowed to function as a court of the Justice of the Supreme Court, because she became a Chief Justice on the premise that she was a Supreme Court judge. But having said that, there is no ambiguity in Article 146. 146.3 is clear. 1466 is clear. The procedures are clear. Reading through it and reading the petition, what came to my mind, and you saw me smiling, and I requested for the warrant, was the conclusion by Albert, that probably what we should have been seeking should have been interpretations of the 1466 and the 3, then probably we would use that as the basis. But wanting to go to court to quash the warrant in totality, to me, will not wash. Understand? You see? And the other point is, even if we, the majority or the minority, or those persons like me who belong to the school of thought I have just mentioned, are able to sail through with our argument, would she have the moral and the conscience to function as a Supreme Court judge with the happenings that had gone on? In fact, I asked a question some time back when she addressed the press, and wanted to say or attempted to say that her rights had been trampled upon because she requested that the proceedings under 1468 should be should not be in camera, but rather it should be the clear view of everybody. And haven't gone ahead to address the press when the case was still ongoing. I posed a question. I said, what would be her stand if there is a case before her and the persons involved go to address the press and deal with the matter itself in the public domain? And so I think that what has happened, if I were her counsel, I would just advise her to go.
Okay.
Why? Because I do not think she would even she would be comfortable among her colleagues or amongst Ghanaians wanting to sit on cases and decide cases in the state. No.
Thank you, Nanelle. Noah, you want to take the final?
Yeah, I think that the Constitution is clear on the removal processes, which have so far been followed to the letter with no distortion or confusion whatsoever. I think that we should hold people to a very high standard, especially people in such superior offices. Office of the CJ is not a small office, even as a Supreme Court judge. The infractions she's been accused of as a CJ, a Supreme Court judge should not be allowed to involve yourself in those infractions. So as far as I am concerned, I think that she's allowed to test the law. It makes it possible for us all. I mean, throughout this process of the CJ's removal, I've learned so much law, much more than I ever knew. I think it's an opportunity for us to inform ourselves and to test the law. And as far as she's doing that, no one can begrudge her that. Whether the outcomes will favor her or not, the court will decide.
Right.
If I just 30 seconds.
Okay, please, quickly. We're done here.
Yes. I think that just on two things. Number one, Joe Bedouin says, I think I made a little mistake. I want to make a correction.
Okay.
I thought today was Friday, apparently. So
no, you mentioned that tomorrow.
No, so it's actually supposed to be Saturday.
Saturday, that's
and then
fine.
I mentioned.
All right.
But then I would also want to say that we need to be able to commend the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Johnson Siama, Dr.
Okay.
Johnson Siama,
Okay.
on the current successes they are chalking, and to urge them that whatever they are doing to actually work on the monetary policy rate. I am saying this because of the industries we have.
Well,
if we are able to still bring these percentages down, all right, it is going to encourage the industry.
Right.
It's going to encourage the industries, and we are able then to compete with the other jurisdictions that are in single digits.
Thank you so much. On News Review today, we have had Dr. Joshua Zato, political scientist and policy analyst. We have had as well Nwang Falong, NDC communications team, who's been with the staff.
Family.
We have also had Nanaya Osapo, Movement for Change.
He's a policy analyst or he's a representative of the MPP. Which one is it? Dr. Zato, are you not an MPP?
Inus Tafuseni, lawyer, former MP, Tamale Central. We have also had Albert Koshiga, head of public law at the University of Professional Studies here in Accra. Thank you for staying. There's more on the show. Stay with me. Welcome back to the show. You're watching the AM show. Now, let's turn our attention to a worrying trend of violence, or maybe hooliganism, in our schools and how we can deal with this phenomenon. And joining me in studio is Bernice Mpire Jeche. She is a National Coordinator, Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition, and as well Mr. Gaston Kofi Raphael, General Secretary, National Council of PT. But before I turn to my guest for us to have the conversation, my colleague Adobia Sari has followed a particular conversation and that has triggered this conversation as well. Take a look.
Students' violence and indiscipline are becoming a serious issue. Just this month, a student at the SDA Senior High brought his father's pistol to school and fired it, injuring another student. A violent clash between students of Kimbu Senior High and Accra High School has only added to the turmoil. A video posted on social media shows students of these two schools in an open fight on the streets as onlookers shout in panic.
Hey! This is, yeah! What the hell? What the hell?
Sharp. Yeah.
Also at Accra Academy, a senior student was caught on video mercilessly lashing a junior with a machete, an alarming act of violence that only highlights the growing indiscipline in our schools.
Sharp.
Okay.
These are just a few examples of the widespread violence and disrespect that is increasingly troubling schools and society as a whole. Eunice, who chooses to remain anonymous, is a food vendor and mother. She recalls the horror of seeing a student stab another right before her eyes at Kanda.
Other schools no problem.
The students claim to have bad blood with other students from other schools. They go for their inter-schools competitions carrying weapons. One of them stabbed another and he bled profusely. Amidst this crisis, hope emerges. For the past 3 months, the Zongo Youth for Discipline initiative, led by the Nima police commander, has been actively engaging with students. The goal? To educate and mentor them, helping them choose a positive path for their future. What started in senior high schools has now expanded to junior high schools, reaching more young people who need guidance.
As a commander at the Nima command, I noticed that once too many times when we have youth indulging in indisciplined behavior, such as student clashes within our constituency or our municipality, and the use of weapons, group attacks. When something happens to one goes to call his friends and they attack one party. And it is becoming something, and we had to do something about it. So then this group was formed. We went to schools, we spoke to the students. We don't do violence.
To this, just last year in September, a student as well was stabbed in O'Reilly Senior High School right here in Accra, and as well in February this year, you must have heard that the student at Salaga SHS was arrested with pistols as well, and we can count many cases of such in our schools. Now, this morning, I will start with the PTA because I like to think that a lot begins and also ends at the PTA. For you as parents and teachers and association, do you recognize and appreciate the enormity of this challenge?
Thank you very much, MFA. I think that, let me commend your media house for bringing this issue into the limelight once again. I think that the recently unchecked share of violence in our schools, especially at the SHS level, which has now truncated into the basic schools, clearly reflects how, as a nation, we have failed in making sure that we give our wards the best of upbringing. Training of the child begins from the home setting. I'm wondering, as a media person, the time you leave the house, what kind of attention do you give to your child to make sure that he gets the basics right? We are trying to make the teachers look like, and the schools like a miracle center. The schools are not a miracle center. The schools virtually reflect what the society gives to them. And it is our duty as parents, as the first duty bearers, to make sure that we give our children or ours the best of what? Training and then moral development. What I see happening in Ghana is that pro-government policies tries to make the parent look like, oh, government can do it for you. And parents are beginning to shirk their responsibilities. And when parents don't get it right from the onset, because the Bible says that if the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? You can only lay upon a solid foundation that has been built. Most of us who find ourselves in the ages of the 40s and the mid-50s, when we were kids, we knew that any voice in the community was a parental voice. And that voice, when it speaks to you and tells that this thing you are doing is wrong, you don't see it as only your father and your mother who can actually correct you. But everybody in the society has a role to play in making sure that the child is given a proper upbringing and development. So every child is a product of his environment. We are a reflection, the schools are a reflection of the things that are happening within the bigger environment. So I'm happy we are discussing this, and I'm using this platform and this medium to look into the eyes of every Ghanaian parent, irrespective of whatever job you do. Your first job is to make sure that you give your child a proper upbringing, so that the child, when he goes out there and they mention the child with any kind of lifeline that he reflects into the society, it will show that, yes, you've actually proven that, yes, God has given you a mandate that you don't only give birth, but you also have a responsibility to train the child the way he should grow, so that when he grows up, he will not depart away from it. So we are not happy as a National Council of Parent-Teacher Association, which are in charge of all school-based PTAs and also the larger parent community. We are not happy when government begins to create a posture like they care more than us when it comes to the welfare of ours. Who can be more Catholic than the Pope? We all pick sermons and we learn. If you are a Catholic, the best place to pick best of doctrines and best of practices is from the Pope. So I believe that the teachers are only there to provide as a support systems. And we as parents, we have what we call vicarious liabilities. When the children get into the school environment, now that liability, vicarious liability, is transferred from the home into the school setting. So the teachers now become the second parents of the children. So both the school and then the home, we must be together and put the child in the middle and make sure we can tailor the child to suit him to our culture settings, so that he grows and he doesn't depart from the Ghanaian culture setting. Okay. But that is what we are losing gradually as a society, and I think that it is high time we don't see this as anything, but we see it as a national emergency that we need to put our shoulders to the world and nip it in the bud.
Very well said. When I come back to you after I have also engaged Bernice, would be that, would you paint a better picture for me when you say that government seems to look like they can do it better, or who can be more Catholic than the Pope? With that analogy, I'd want to understand better. But Bernice, let me find out from you, as a coalition, are you able to maybe tell us what type of violence you say is more prevalent in our schools? Or which ones would you say are very common?
All right, thank you very much for this opportunity. I think gone were the days where it was like bullying. When a first-year student go to school, you are taken through some kind of treatment. That is what we knew. But how it has escalated to other form of physical abuse and all that is something that is very worrying. And then we really have to see how we can curb the situation. Because bullying, you are asked to use some substance on your face, you have to dress, mismatch, that kind of thing. But not when a student is using a machete to lash a fellow student. Students attacking teachers just because they want them to follow the rules and regulations within the schools. Not when students are using cutlasses, fighting on the open streets for other community members to watch and look at. It is very worrying. So this kind of bullying, it is so bad. There was a time we saw that in one of the schools a student is made to stand on a chair and you see other students line up, this person will come and slap the other person will come and slap that same person, about 10 people slapping one person. It is uncalled for. You can imagine the effect that it will have on that student, to the extent that some of the students are dying. We are losing them. Some are having permanent disabilities. Some are having partial disabilities. It is uncalled for. It is not something that we have to sit as a nation to watch it happen. Otherwise, we are telling ourselves that our schools are not safe for our children.
Mr. Gapson draws our attention to the fact that parents have a basic role and responsibility because, of course, training your child starts from home. For you as a coalition, do you entirely agree with this?
Perfectly.
And where then is the gap coming from? If the parents can't be blamed and the school can't be blamed, who are we blaming then?
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Gapson that it starts from the home. It starts with the parent. It is one of the basic responsibility of every parent to ensure that moral upbringing or behavior of your child is key, apart from providing the material resources like clothing, dresses, and all that. It is not enough. But how your child behaves, the moral upbringing of the child is equally important. So the moment it feels from the home, it goes out everywhere the child is. Not disputing that we also, yes, maybe the parent has neglected some responsibility, was not able to bring the child up to expectation where he's supposed to be. But as the child goes out of the home, there are systems also in the schools. There are rules in the schools. So let me cite this example. The examination malpractices that we had with the BEC. Fine. Parents go as far as buying the examination papers for the wards. But if they do that, and then the child goes to the examination hall, and the systems and the setting doesn't allow the child to do that, there is no way the child will be able to use whatever the parent has bought for him or her. So parents really have to do a lot, but we have to also look at our systems. So one of the things we're really looking at is the code of conduct.
Okay.
Of discipline in the schools. So that is one thing that we should also look at as a nation, because that is where we have the power to also make sure that our systems and the schools are safe for our wards.
I'll come back to you, Mr. Gapson. So you mentioned, and I'm quite curious, because then one of the things that the government will want to do is to make sure that their people are quite cared for, right? But when it now becomes quite a problem, paint a picture. What are some of the things that government is doing that is almost looking like they can even care for the wards better than the parents?
Thank you very much. Let me just read something. The identity and policy of the National PTA or the PTAs. To promote the general welfare of school-going children or wards in their homes, educational institutions, communities, and the places of worship. To raise the standard of home life through effective early childhood upbringing. To secure adequate laws for the care and protection of students and pupils. That is where I associate with her when she speaks about the code of discipline in our schools. When you are developing a code of discipline for our students, and we as a PTA, we are not invited to that discussion table, what have you done? Let me just not take it back. 2024, around January, the then government released two major policy statements. They were all bordering on PTAs, but we looked at one and left the other. One was trying to change the name of PTA to PA, to take away the teachers from being part of the association. Meanwhile, when you read the Pre-Tertiary Education Act, there is nowhere in that act that states that PTAs are under government, let alone for them to regulate that space for us. So you work within your jurisdiction and your mandate, and leave what is for us to also work around it. At best, we are partners and collaborators. That was one of the policies. The other policy that also the then government brought, which most of us have never spoken to, is the fact that there was a code of conduct for students. But when you read that code of conduct and you read the stakeholders that were engaged, you never see the PTA there. At the end of the day, the child you want to instill discipline, we must do it together. There must be that effective collaboration. There must be that partnership. The child must know that both the home and the school environment, both the stakeholders in the community, the immediate family of the child, the chief, the opinion leaders, the elders of the community, we all resonate that, look, this is the way to go. And we are saying government or the school, we are together with you on this page. But if the school and then the parents they are in conflict as to the best way to discipline a child, I don't know the day that child or that student will have a leeway. So I'm saying that.
Yeah.
I'm saying that. And she mentioned something that in relation to examination malpractices.
Yeah.
I think that issue, I'm an educationist. 22 years in the space. I've been teaching since 2003. And me, I have some principles that I don't violate them. I don't believe that if you have taught the child well, you should find other mechanisms to assist the child to pass. We are not. As a national PTA, we don't condone and we don't collaborate and we don't support that.
But it's not
but the
parents will do that.
But the truth of the matter is that it is these school administrators who woo the children into this act. Look, go with your cameras and investigate. Go deep down. After this BEC exam, just put your ears down and ask. You get to know that in some districts, you get to see that even officers of the education office are part of the examination malpractices. Yeah. You get to see that some head teachers are part. Not all head teachers, because I'm a head teacher. You get to know some head teachers are part. You get to know some irresponsible parents. And for that matter, some PTA executives are also collaborating. Because there's this interesting scenario out there that if all human beings are turning into animal, and you decide not to be an animal, they will now become an animal and come and devour you. Because that has become the order of the day. We assess schools and we assess performance of districts based on a performance agreement contract. So if your district, they are not churning out the best results, we are not looking at the state of infrastructure in the schools. We are not looking at the quality of teaching and learning that goes on there. All we need is that give us 100% performance. Okay. So whichever means we'll do whatever Papa will do to let the children pass, even if they can't defend their results. At the end of the day, we help them to pass. Whatever happens to them is none of our business. And now we are all afraid. When you even go to hospital and the nurse is trying to give you this thing, you are trying to find second opinion about as to whether what the person is telling you is right.
Madame Benes made a point that if the place where the violence is happening is not conducive for violence, it will not happen.
Of course.
I mean, what happened to in the past when you're going to school, both your trunk and your chop boxes were searched. There were random search in the dormitories. Even in the dining hall, they could just show up and then they could search. Because there's a local adage that says, which means that a parent would not be happy to intentionally not raise their child very well. You would hear some parents say that I did everything I could, or at least what is within their means to want to raise a child. So some children are very quite perfect at home until you're home, and then they bring your word back and they say that your child did this in school, and sometimes you're surprised. So we're trying to assess where is the fertile ground for a child to want to misconduct themselves. And you'd realize that carrying the machete to want to go and beat your colleague, they probably either took it from home, they picked it on their way, and then they perpetrated the act on campus. For you as a Parent-Teacher Association, what are the values that you think has broken in our schools that existed in the past? And I'm happy to hear from you, especially because for how many years? Since 2003, you've been teaching. I'll come to you for your response. But Madame Benes, for you, because you made this point, let's stay on it. What are some of the values you think is broken?
All right. So yesterday we had broader stakeholders consultation on this issue, and then putting together our thought on how we can curb this menace in the schools. But one of the things that came out strongly was that the security system in the schools are broken now. Most of the senior high schools are not walled. So other people, other community members find their way into the school, especially day students who lives around the school communities, sometimes recruits other colleagues in the community to come to the school if they feel that a student has offended him or her, or a teacher has done something. They recruit their colleagues from the community, and they can easily enter the school, provide them with any weapon for them to use that. So some of the recommendation that was coming was, is it possible that those in the boarding house can be searched? Like you said, those times, if you are searched, they are even searching for maybe mufti or unauthorized items that you might have brought to school. Maybe you take them to out in the night or something. That is what they probably search for in our trunks and then all that. So we're asking if it is possible for day students to be searched in the morning before they enter the school. And then we realized that looking at the number of students on campus at a time, you can have as much as 1,800 day students in a school. How do you search them early in the morning before they go to class? It will probably take a majority of the learning time, and then it is very stressful for them to do it every day. And looking at the number of schools we have in the country, how many security personnel, is it police or whatever that we are going to use to conduct this kind of search? So one of the things that came out strongly was the use of the code of conduct, that one, teachers are not using them well, heads of schools are not using them well. So the punishment that comes with it, the process of taking the child through some corrective measures to take away some kind of behavior, it is not there. And then also, gone were the days we used to have guidance and counseling coordinators in school. Now, the situation is that most of these people, counselors, are also teachers who would not have time to listen to their children, because sometimes it is out of a situation that the child has gone through. Maybe the child couldn't get anyone to talk to address the issue, and gradually it comes out the way we see it as violence. But then if the counseling session is working very well within the schools, then they can address some of the issues of the students. So now I think what GES is doing is that now they want to get professional counselors who would not teach at the same time to be in the school to take care of the issues of the children. Then mental health also came in. Some of this violence could be as a result of some mental health issues that we are ignoring. So these are some of the issues. So I learned the counseling in the schools are being piloted in some 32 schools, hoping that it will go across the whole school. Then we came again that looking at the ratio of student to a counselor, if you have only one counselor in a school, how will it work? But we had the information from the team is that apart from the professional counselor, a team of counselors will be formed in the school, about 10 or 12, and then they will be mandated to ensure that they provide some form of counseling to the students. So like you are saying, I'm a parent, I've raised my child in a way that thinking the child is so innocent, but the child goes to school and then meets a kind of friends, some culture, other thing goes on. The child can learn that in the school and begin to practice it. But when our systems are also working in the school safe policy is being implemented well, security of the school becomes our concern, schools are walled, and then all that, I'm sure some of these things can be decreased. So we have to look at it from both sides, the parental issues, the policy makers issue, GES, the implementers, and then the school management team, what can be done to address this?
You've touched on something. Mr. Gapson raised a concern that you're drawing a code of conduct without the parents. How are you going to implement it? Mr. Gapson, what would you say are the values that have been broken in your years of practice as a teacher and maybe a parent if you are, and now even the secretary for a whole body that has experienced both sides? What would you say are the values that are broken?
You know, every child is a product of its environment. There's a home environment and then there's a school environment. The values in the home, if we do them well and they reflect within the school, is the same values that the children will carry on whilst they are in the school environment. For instance, respect for elders. Of late, The child will be passing, school child passing, he sees the elderly, he won't even greet anybody. And we don't even care to draw his attention that, look, that is not how we are as Ghanaians. There's no community in Ghana that does not cherish the fact that a child must be trained to greet and appreciate the fact that you are young, an elderly person must guide you and nurture you. So when you see them, you greet them. And maybe if there's something he can share with you, he will share it with you. Extended family ties. We are now becoming more intrinsic than extrinsic. Most of us don't even check on our extended family relations. Formally, when a child is good or a child even has a challenge, you can get somebody within the extended family that is prepared to see how they can assist to give the child the best of attention. Or the child stays with the parents for some time. He goes and learns other things from the village or other extended family members. By the time the child comes back, he improves upon the values and how he cares about people and relationship. We are talking about hospitality. Some say Ghanaians are hospitable. These days I say that we are only hospitable to strangers. We don't care about the next door neighbor, but we put up a fake life to think that we care about other people. We also need to look at tolerance. These violence issues are tolerance issues related. If a child has been trained to tolerate other people's views, it will be very difficult for a child who is not prepared to use a dagger on himself, will try to use it on another person.
Right.
You understand? So, and hard work and perseverance. We live in a society that these days, mediocre has become the order of the day. We don't believe in hard work. We don't believe people should toil to make it. So when they are going to write exams, we think that, let's help them to pass.
Let's talk about discipline in schools.
Discipline in schools. What do you want us to discuss about school discipline?
Let's talk about discipline in schools. For PTA and also for you, Bernice, is it still an active rule that we cannot cane our wards in school again? Is it an active rule?
Well, per the GS policy, that is what they say. But as to whether that is what is on the ground is another issue. And as to whether we, as parents, we agree with them, it's another matter altogether.
I want to hear from the parents.
We don't agree.
You don't agree?
Why should we agree?
People have become quite aware of the human rights.
I keep on saying that. Human rights?
People have become quite aware. Do you think
is human rights more godly than godly rights? The Bible says that spare the rod and spoil the child. It didn't say that use the rod all the time.
Did you fight this policy when GS?
I'm saying they don't even engage us. That is why it is not working. That's the reality on the ground. Because in the house, I have control. I will not intentionally cane my child or probably hold the ears and pull or just do something for him to know, no, you are being naughty. I will not do that intentionally. I will do that when the child is going overboard. And you see, it is part of our training. Even in America, I think about 2-3 months ago, I heard Donald Trump saying that, look, let's go back to the basis. Let's go back. There are certain things we are trying to say, in the name of human rights and all those things, and things are going out of hand.
Would you rather the cane us in school? Would you rather that the caning?
No, some minimum amount of caning, but it should be measured and it should be regulated. That should be the situation. Before you do that, at least the head must, there's a team should assess and say, for this one, let's go give some small work so that the child will feel that, look, he's this, or just give him some distance. I believe that something must happen to show that you've deviated, and we are trying to let you know that every law you breach, there are some consequences. If we don't make those things effective, and we sit down and we say, the Western world are doing this, the systems they do have those same systems here.
So finally,
the systems in the Western world, is this the same here?
I mean, question for the God.
No, I'm also asking you that question. You are also a parent. So you see, we shouldn't copy blindly. We should copy what fits into our system. And I like it, they say teachers, you should do improvisation. When you're a teacher and then you are supposed to teach something and you don't have the real thing, you improvise. So when we see these things and we look at it, can we model it to suit our system than to do hook, line, and sinker way of engagement that doesn't become effective with our system?
One for you for PTA. You're asking that when these code of conduct or when questions of discipline will come up, you would like that it is done in collaboration with you.
We should be at the forefront of it.
In fact, okay.
It's not that, you see, there are some blunt truths that is difficult to say. But if we don't give birth to kids, how will a teacher be employed? How will a school even function in the first place? How will a community be established? So if you are doing things and you want to become more Catholic than the Pope, that's what I mean. You want to think that you care about our children more than us. Whatever you are doing for the child, it's a support you are providing to collaborate our effort. So let's do it together. Let that partnership, let that collaboration, let it be effective. So the child will know that both the home and then the school environment, he has no space to misbehave.
Right. Vanessa, I'll take the final words from you. And in your final words, you can also talk about the discipline.
Right. So with regards to the discipline, one thing that the teachers and then the school management are also not doing right is that because they said don't cane the child, they have also stopped all the other form of discipline that is supposed to be meted out to the child. Because with the use of cane in schools, we've seen several incidents to whereby the teachers have overused the cane, also hurting the students and then all that. It could be one of the reasons why it has to be taken out. But there are other forms of discipline where the teachers are not using. You said I shouldn't cane the child, so let me leave the child to go. Meanwhile, there are other forms of correctional ways that the teachers could have used to discipline the child. So that is one thing we should look at and go back to. So as a coalition, we are looking at how we can support the teachers, support the students, give them a form of sensitization on the code of conduct so that they can go back to other form of discipline to correct the children. But what I would say is that let's really look at our schools again. When we are allocating resources for our schools, there are some structures in the schools that are being ignored, like the school management committee, which involves the community and then the teachers, the school management, coming together to make sure that the school runs effectively. But those structures are not well resourced, so they are not functioning. So policymakers, Ministry of Education, Ghana Education Service, we are pleading that let's go back to those structures that we feel are not significant, but they are making a lot of impact if they are well resourced. And then also let's look at the security systems of our school. At least we should see some form of commitment in walling all senior high schools. It should be walled, and at least some number of security men at post to check some of those issues, because we want our schools to be safe. And then also we sometimes support the formulation of policies or reviewing policies and then other. We have a safe school policy. We are pleading that any form of resources that are supposed to go into that policy for it to be well implemented, it should, because we are mostly good at coming out with the policy, but its implementation becomes a challenge. So the safe school policy should be re-looked at again to be well implemented. Otherwise, we are all at risk.
Right. I think that once we've started this conversation, we'll continue it again at some point. But I thank you at least for making time to join us in studio to have this very important conversation. We were joined by Bernice Impera-Jeche. She is National Coordinator at Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition as well. We've been joined by Gabson Kofi Raphael, General Secretary, the National Council of the PTA. Thank you, gentlemen and lady, for joining us today. Please stay with me. There's more on the show. You're watching the AM show. Now, Kumasi's bustling central business district has fallen silent this morning as shops, markets and offices close in honor of the late Asantehema Nana Konadu Yadom III, whose sacred burial service reaches its climax today. Now, the shutdown directed by the Mensha Palace forms part of measures to accord the Queen Mother a dignified farewell, befitting her status as the mother of the Asante Kingdom. Now, traders, transport operators, banks and other businesses who were earlier exempted from a full-day restriction during the day have complied, leaving them usually busy in the KJTR enclave. Streets leading to the Mensha Palace have been cordoned as mourners, traditional leaders and dignitaries converge to witness the historic rites. My colleague Nana Bache Iyadom joins us from the CBD. Nana, tell us how things are looking this morning.
As a central business district, Adum, where we are live from currently, and you can see that today happens to be the climax of Nana Asantehima's burial service. The actual burial service is going to take place at the Menchia Palace, the forecourt where the Asante is expected to sit down. But then today we've come to the CBD to look at the operations. Just as the issuance came from the Menchia Palace, no movement, no businesses, no business must operate, and it has been a day of total compliance to the rules that was laid out by the Menchia Palace in its release. Despite the exemption that was given to pharmaceutical shops, banks, and some essential business operators, we've still seen that they have completely complied with nobody here. You can see the KMA operations vehicle with military and then some other task forces coming inside here, and they are moving to KJTR, going to do their spies around the Dome and its environs. And I must tell you that no shop whatsoever has opened. There are just some few transport operators who are working today, some few trotro drivers who are here, taxi drivers who are here. Let's try to speak to some of the people who have come in today, who are on the streets, I say. And what's Nana Matari? I say BMP, Manopedi, Mubetimi Aquaba, I am a Juma Kakra, Niamamuti saying Casamao, who are you saying? Amamre,
Meme o hene otumfu adwae ni bade me ti wabome chido enti ene ni breda te bonu nsia ye de be kobrema
enti bonu nsia o kan brafo no mu amode ohima be kobrema no. Okay, na enema mu be sen ewo nyame ochina nyame enen nyame adoma e bo be no nsia na enema mu be sen
e wa sam de metimi kan ha eno an se smo obi empie enti yewura akasa yini asim bia kan yese bonu nsia mo bia nyede empie na woje ho achi na opie dia yenhia tamamre no
na na ba ya wo se stores ahodo nyina tutum no bibie ato wadwem kakra
oh di bibie ato man se ma hu se tumi wo ho na hu se ampa o mati ewura asem one kuro ne ye ne dia one odi ni nsa benku ni fanchi ade afiri ni pansem ti do oka na oka ti kuro ewura se mo bia empie mo bia mi store.
So he happens to be one of the executors who would be leading Nana Asantehima's body to Bremen, and he has said that no, I want to speak to the one woman who's clad in black and red also, but I was interpreting what the man was saying earlier. He had said that he has believed that indeed the people of Ashanti respects the Asantehini's orders and his commands, looking at the fact that businesses complied with the rules that was laid out by the Menchia Palace. And he's also said that by 6, just as indicated, everybody must be indoors and must comply with the no movement rules and restriction that has been put in place. Mame, we are live or join you so and amamre na dan ho adi wa santememu. Me hu say we frown to ma when it here Menchia o kwa kosom akohwe Asantehima yie ni bi
wadaro mebru pepepe nana ya de ne tompem kwasiada no ti yakotena ho kwasiada enwumre ni nyina edwoda yeho ebenada yeho ukwiada yawoda ne na ye gu ensu ase krakrakra na gya ye de akwandu akọ enti na meni abra me meko
na eneno ena ye de eyeda etwa to okra ye hu se amamre ne amane etwagu ankasa na amanfo so atoto mu stores nyina mu trotro drivers kakra ne taxi drivers kakra ne ehu mu wa hanum say e de na we e ka chewa na say true fa Asanteman ho
ai de emma mi hu emma ne ye ne say ewiase de ne dia no sa de kuta obi na ne dia so oje kro de bonkum na beje afri wonsem e kire se tumi e wo ho ye nananom e kikire Asanteman no e no mu de ye nana ona o kikire ye nti obi a wa kikire ni kro die asampa no ka seseya e wo se emra ye adwuma
nti no ene de wo hu se tumi ankasa ne mra na amanfo di so hanum se
papa
na amanfo so se ye nya aduane ndi ye nya ne ma nto
kwambe so no mu nya aduane ni
Among for motor and the Marco be netted crown.
Baku cried the when dear so.
Hey,
Baby, the Baku when dear ungu. And see, we didn't be a head in it. And then you had the Sophie way up in neighbor. I am my phone, I am funny in our mua. See, I near ye. And see, we did the Baku dear ma, Mama, Debbie. When you do any that could do any dear and yes, 40 days, and I went dear will be.
I better ask the Palmer near Mountain Council. And so she's saying that if you are unable to eat for a day, that shouldn't be a problem because just for today, you have to obey the rules that has been laid out by the Mencha Palace. She says that this is a royal day for all of us in the Ashanti region. And so looking at the fact that businesses have closed, banks and shops have all complied to the rules, tells you that real tradition is at its peak and display here in the Ashanti region and in the Ashanti kingdom at large. But then this is the bustling and busy Edum central business district where you ordinarily feel or see the streets filled and packed with hundreds of people coming to do their regular business. But today it is an empty street, empty shops, closed with police officers, military task forces and national security operatives cordon the place, making sure that people comply with the rules laid out. Everybody you see here is making his way to the Mencha Palace, and that is how come they're all clad in black and red, the morning colors of the Akan people. And you see that behind me is the route or road that leads you to the Mencha Palace. That's why everybody you see here is making their way to the palace. But as I indicated earlier, the police are here, the task forces are here, and the national security operatives are here. But shops remain closed. Just some few transport operators going about their businesses, and just some few food joints you can see here and come across just to get something to eat. I still want to see if I can engage some few people who are here at the CBD and ask them what they think about today. May I show you a trotro driver?
Yes, please.
Now, trotro drivers, no,
oh, it's true. We are not getting everything all right as usual. We normally work and then get a lot income, but today there is nothing going on at all.
Today, since you came, how many people have you been able to pick to their destination?
Actually, I ran empty. If you go, you will not get anybody to come. So in everything we ran up to loss. We are not getting anything at all.
Wow. But you also know that it is part of tradition and custom, so they are all complying. So you are not really bothered, are you?
Oh, yes, please.
And would you yourself be heading to the Mencha Palace today?
Sure, I will go. I will.
Thank you very much. And that is a trotro driver who's telling me how the day has been and the fact that he's been running empty today, not getting passengers to even pick them to their destination. For some rounds that he's done today, it's been all empty. Tells me that this, he believes, is part of custom and tradition, and so people are complying. This is the situation at the busy CBD, the Edum, Kejetia, and other areas that are supposed to be very, very busy on an early Thursday morning. But you see, empty streets, empty shops, closed, paying tribute to the late Asante Hima Nana Konadu Yandom III, whose burial service demands quietness.
Santemai, and then yet, and then the one Emma Santemai, and then yet, and then the one Emma Santemai, and then yet, yeah, and then yet, and then
Mena udire say
Rami Frasanti Achmagogo.
Achmagogo and I'm back home.
Ya come from Ranado. Ya woshi a wubi pa. Fise otun for Nation Yatia Yakom. And it's a name mame and never da and paswa. Yan Facomuniagro. Yabosmo dia Yajumapa. Edia Jananapa.
And now confirm about her, dear, and share any more.
And another emoji anyone say. Ya gudumadi eniso enti ba bia obati se de bia bia nje se bia bia fuo ti ba bia wo bia no atu amerika ko na nso anya atefa wo
ta tetere enti wiemu ye pa wiemu ye mo ma uza kata bre du si tobre enso ye tumi nti ade ye tiade bibi wo ho amamre ni amane e wo ho papa enti ya tetere oba de so tie Medase, eti yene na no wa konfo ebi na omo eguso abon komono eti ya hwa ye tano konfo ni bendru konfo akonfo se na ode ba me dia konfo be ensia na aba ya wo mo kame ho a ye ba be ye dwumadie no amana efe na mo ba ye ewie mo te sai oh boko de se bibia betoye ama to biaba yanhwe empempi na ebi mu kasatia abotomsem ne akonfo ye na wakapa na toble ni nyina ye ene edi bra ba wiase ze afu bia ye som ye nsa ene wo wiase ye wo ekemosom ye wo kisosom ene wo abotomsom na nam sikasama ene aja mai nwa tete no ama dodo mu abotomsom denzo sabye bro abotomsom no epitete ye ne ene beba bete giran aye akonfo ebia ya ye nyina ye hwa mamre ene amane a etwaguo adeshimama yeguso awo ha eposom kase awa ha na yene ne monkomo wona na kom otumfo ebosom no nana ye mo akwaba eroba adom tv so ba cho mejo so ya media menemo pa na sire kokko ba hu nti no udi pa udi bere sai nana akwasi asare wona wo ye hwan me ye asante yene bosomfo a me kom kosuma jendu ani bugari okay ma kase kase beda se nana ye hwe asante hema nana kuno de ya no toso me esa okwa akura kana akonfo dwumadie ne pa no eho enkasete sei kana de amamra de amane anya asam ketwa awa hakra butimi hu za akonfo no guso omo achia omo ya payem yehwe enede ne hwe no akonfo no adwuma kasia ye de na adwuma kura so pa wo dwumadie yi mu ise sana kwa kura se ya asante maya yedi awase ya fra honhom no asigadwa da roma ahom ni nyina ba boaye na bribia kokama sede be ya susum bia epese dwumadie eye be ya basa na bibi bese no sa susum ni nyina awase ya pam no ma omko na papa kwa na ba asante mamu na sa musuei ebi nto ebie o na ye be hunu bia na yo baba bie mu no wa nyina fi oduma kuma bless asana wasabo
Yet the Tequam, here they are more henny, here they are so henny so day. I'm more henny to bring up good do, because I have to answer my good do.
Another Piemaha, you see the one I and Yasam Ketwa. Way a Suta Kwamame Poso, Setra Centra, Confuanchi, and a nay, welcome our Hano, Suta Kwamai, Peposo Setra Centra, Confuanchi, and a Hayamba who say, I won't come, and Yasam Ketwa. I'll come to and then Yasam Ketwa, and now Apaquasam, and now Mamre, and now Mania. Don't want to Jagu about TV. So, they are some more. What shall I dance here? Where are Confuanchi? Suta Kwamame Paso Confor, and a nay, welcome no. And Yasam Ketwa, and Yasam Ketwa Bra. It is a tissue to say, I say that here. I shall say the same that here, say that here. It is a fair and the number. I will flash here. I am pioneer flash here. I have some good to say, and I come no Kawa, if flash here. I can't know. Is there an animal banner? And Bassa and the chairman, but flash here, I found about the Carino. Now, just what you would know. Now, at the Wakadiano, what they are a connector. TV, so am I afraid, and I come with us here, afraid, and I can't walk. I nay, and check, but whom Yatumano no idea, now what is here, we have no share. When I say, but the Canadian, now a dress and nay, but also by the cop, one command child, your bed on great. Nana Chame Japan. Nana Chame Japan, and there about Samuya, a way, Diana will catch them up for what I said to Obika, Madama, Sabria, Sabre, Asataman, Yatua Besino, Sabre, Pichi Angasa Abo, Sabre, Yaba Penny now. I said, what that's at Maniano, Wakan Sabre, and then Nana Tum or therefore now parents will discover Jacofina Gasa, Wakope, Libra, Nemame, Nimaba, and yet. Now, what here, camera at Danusia. And Casa Himangre and a day Fabre Himangre and a day Nana Adruha and Nana and Yaprepa. Okay, Nana up on the good to Primayas and Petua.
Well, this is how we wrap the AM show today, but definitely today climax the long week celebration of the passing of Asante Hima, and we've got our men definitely on the ground. The coverage definitely will continue right here on the Joy News channel and all of us on all of our subsequent bulletins. But as well, before I go, a happy birthday, Nana Khan of Ghana International Trade Commission, wishing you joy, good health, and endless blessings. May the good Lord continue to guide you and make you great always, from your husband, friends, and loved ones. A happy birthday to you, Nana Khan of Ghana International Trade Commission. And as well, a gentle reminder that the Digital Asset Summit Africa will be happening on September 29th through to 30th of 2025, and right here in Accra. For more information, you can log on to dasummitafrica.com for more information on Digital Summit, Digital Asset Summit Africa. Well, thank you for tuning in today on the AM show. Joy News Desk continues. I am MFA Akosia Aditi. Thank you for watching.